Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the May 20th, 2026 meeting of the Daytona Beach City Commission. We are happy to have you with us tonight. Madam Clerk, may we please have a roll call?
Commissioner Strickland?
Here.
Commissioner May? Here. Commissioner Cantu? Here. Commissioner Henry?
Present.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Paris?
Here.
Mayor Derek L. Henry? And can we get someone to excuse?
Motion to excuse Mayor Henry.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Reed and a second by Commissioner May. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 4, which is approval of the minutes of the April 15th, 2026 City Commission meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by
Strickland.
Commissioner Strickland and a second by, who was that? Commissioner Paris. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. We will now move on to item 5A, agenda approval. If there are any changes, the city manager will read them at this time.
Yes, the only change is we're removing the Citizens Academy graduation presentation off of this agenda.
I move to accept the agenda with the said change.
Second.
With those changes, we have a motion by Commissioner Reed and a second by Commissioner May. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 6, which is our presentations. Item 6A is the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Gamma Mu Omega Chapter and a Wish Inc., the Gentleman's Edition, polished with a purpose, introducing the 2026 Men of Tomorrow.
Nice.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, as well as the members of the dais. My name is Haronda Mortimer. I am the Vice President of Gamma Mu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha Chapter here in Daytona Beach. Thank you so much for an opportunity to speak with you all. As we were developing our programming for this year for the Men of Tomorrow program, our committee thought it was very important that we give them an opportunity to be exposed to city government and giving them an opportunity to see how the city works in the community and the role that it plays. As far as our program, just to give you a little bit of history, our program has focused over the past decades to develop young men as future leaders, even mayors. As our Mayor Henry was a part of the 1986 class of the Men of Tomorrow. So we're very excited about that. They have the responsibility of becoming visionary leaders within their families and communities. throughout the 80s, our program has included competitive talent shows, Black excellence, Black experience programs, as well as educational workshops. While some of our programming has changed, our activities, our focus has remained the same. In the 90s, we moved into having the rites of passage, which is a ceremonial program that celebrates the manhood and underscores the responsibilities within the African American family. In 2013, we began the Men of Today, as well as the Little Men, because we didn't want to leave out the young men. We have continued to have positive activities which raise the awareness and reference to education, relationships, and others in the future generations. They have developed, these young men over the years have developed into men of substance, men who serve their communities and help to give back, to bring other young men forward. Men who are college graduates, those who have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, businessmen, ministers, military, and so on. We respect them, who respect themselves and the other men who believe in striving for a strong family structure. Pardon me, I'm trying to go a little bit quickly here. We are so proud this evening that we have some of our men of tomorrow in the audience today. And as I call their names, I want to just get them to stand up. And so our 2026 Men of Tomorrow class is made up of Mr. Anthony Gaston, Mr. Amari Robinson, Mr. Atif A.J. Austin, Mr. Isaac Montgomery, Mr. Sean Quinn Holmes. In addition, that's not present, we have Mr. Cameron Mickle, Cortez Waring, and Justin Moore. So I believe our goal was accomplished this evening because they got a very up close and personal look at how the City Commission works and just how they can actually play a role in the community. So that was really the goal of them coming this evening and having that opportunity and that exposure, because we know that exposure matters. You don't know what you don't know. So I think our mission was accomplished this evening. So again, thank you all so much for allowing us a few moments of your time to present the Men of Tomorrow program, and our Botillion, which is where they come and are presented to society, is on June 13th at the CCE on Bethune-Cookman College's campus, and you can go to our website for more information at awishDaytona.com. So with that, thank you all so much yet again.
Do we want to have them do a picture? We'll have them if they want to come up.
And the chapter members as well.
What's that?
Oh, you're taking it. I'm sorry. The last time.
Before we move forward, and if you all are leaving, I'd just like to recognize that Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is one of the Divine Nine organizations, one of our Panhellenic organizations, and Gamma Mu Omega is very active in our community, and we thank you for all that you do, and continue to do what you do. Thank you.
And I also want to point out Miss Jennifer Thomas, our former city clerk and my mentor in the audience. Well, we're going to move on to item 6B, which is Bob Brand, the chair of the Daytona Beach Economic Development Board, Economic Development Initiatives, Priorities, and Opportunities.
Good evening.
Hey.
My name is Bob Rand. I live at 136 Zaharia Circle, Daytona Beach, and I chair the Economic Development Advisory Board for the City of Daytona Beach. In January, the board sent a letter to the commissioners with some goals and objectives, and I will say that, you know, typically we're a very reactive board. We respond to requests from the commission. We decided to take a little bit more of a proactive approach to maybe stimulate some activity. I'd like to start by just reading our mission statement. That Daytona Beach Advisory Board, Economic Development Advisory Board mission statement says, to encourage economic development in Daytona Beach by retaining and facilitating the expansion of existing businesses, attracting new viable businesses to the area, and fostering the development of complementary business clusters. We shall remain mindful of the community vision while recognizing the importance of cooperating with area, county, regional, and statewide efforts to bring jobs to this area as they would positively impact business growth for the city. Here we go. I included a letter in this presentation. I don't think I need to read the letter. Everybody received the letter. And what I talk about will really capture what's in the letter. So if you don't mind, we will just go right on. The purpose of the letter was to support long-term economic growth and investment in Daytona Beach, strengthen Daytona Beach's investment climate, ensure Daytona Beach opportunity is above its peer group communities. So we feel, you know, we don't have to be over aggressive with incentives and that type of thing, but we have to be at least at the level of our peer cities that we're competing with for economic activity. Focus on actionable initiatives that improve the quality of development and long-term prosperity. So we talked about long-term vision and community identity. The board recognizes the existence of a vision plan that the city that the city has voted on and the commission has gotten behind. So we recognize that there's a plan in place, but we recommend that the city it be more of a collaborative process for updating and refreshing the Daytona Beach plan. So maybe we pull the plan out, let's update it, refresh it, and move forward. Clearly articulate a 20-year vision of Daytona Beach and establish measurable benchmarks and implementation goals. Establishing those benchmarks and hitting those benchmarks is critical. Recognize the distinct characteristics between the beach side and the mainland areas. They're two really separate economic machines, right? The beach side and the mainland, they're very separate. However, they need to work together to accomplish the goals of the city. Build on momentum generated by recent accomplishments, East ISB improvements, West Side growth and retail development, the expansion of our nationally recognized universities, and the addition of new and expanded industrial projects and job opportunities. The investment climate and redevelopment, the opportunity here is to improve Daytona Beach's ability to attract and retain new private investment, address long-standing blight along A1A, ISB, US 1, and other key corridors. We need to improve investor confidence in the city's public image. We've got a number of vacant parcels of land right on the ocean and there's a reason why people aren't showed up. Come join the party. There's a reason why people aren't investing in those properties. We can all speculate, but I think with a little digging we'd find the answer. Okay. Encourage higher quality and luxury redevelopment opportunities, and expand incentives for redevelopment tools for neglected commercial properties. So properties that are not maintained. It involves code enforcement. It involves taking care of properties that are condemned.
For the record, the mayor arrived at 7:43.
We also discussed infrastructure and policy priorities. Strategic improvements can strengthen the visitor and business experience. We've got new gateways in the city. LPGA corridor is a major gateway into the city now. And there was discussion that those gateways should be enhanced. LPGA, Williamson, Clyde Morrison, Bevel Road. ISB, that gateway coming into the city is really, we've done a lot by 95. I think the board thinks that additional steps could be taken. You look at the medians at LPGA, you've got brand new development on both sides of the road, and you've got a median that looks like it needs some work. So that's a gateway. That's the first look that people have at our city many times. And I think it needs to look in a way that we're proud of. Enhance efforts for beachside reforms, including vacation rental opportunities in the core district neighborhoods. I know there's been a lot of discussion around that, and those vacation rentals are thriving in other beachside communities, and we need to figure out how to get them thriving here. One thing I would like to mention, at our Economic Development Advisory Board meeting today, we get a report of new certificates of occupancy that are issued each month. And in March, there were $22.8 million in the city of Daytona Beach in that's the cost of the certificates of occupancy that were issued that month. In April, there were $24.1 million in certificates of occupancy or value of properties issued that month. And that equates to about, at 18 mils, which is the tax rate at Daytona Beach, I know that goes to the county and other taxing authorities, $844,000 from those 2 months worth of projects. It's a lot of revenue. The Daytona Beach share, the way I calculated it, was about $281,000 for 2 months. Pretty impressive. In closing, the board believes that the recommendations will contribute to a stronger and more resilient Daytona Beach. We want to encourage a collaboration between the City Commission, staff, and stakeholders, promote sustainable economic growth and long-term tax base expansion, and the Daytona Beach Economic Development Advisory Board remains available to assist with implementation and future discussion of all these items. I'm happy to take any questions.
I do. Thank you for the presentation. Bob, I just have a few questions because you have in here enhanced gateways, including LPGA, Williamson, Clyde Morris, and Bevel Road. What exactly should we be doing? LPGA is not our road. Williamson is not our road. Clyde Morris is not our road. Should we be communicating with the county and what exactly needs to be done. And then on Bevel Road, which is a state road, which I live off for a long time, they have done a lot. Have you been down there lately? Yeah. Okay, because I know Matt Reinhardt, the county council, and myself, and I'm on the TPO, we actually, they actually put lighting in there, and that looks incredible when you come in. $276,851.75. And then if you look at the bike path we have over there, that was about $1.5 million they put on there, the 8 to 12 inch bike path on the south side of Bevel. And I do know that DOT has a contract with the city for maintenance, and then I believe DOT actually repaid the road over there off Bevel Road. Well, it's been probably about a year or 2 years ago. So I understand what you're saying, but I don't know exactly what you think we should be doing that we're not doing.
I think when the average driver gets off the highway on LPGA, they don't know that that's a county road or a city road. They know they're in the city of Daytona Beach.
It's not a city road, it's a county.
I mean, it's a county road, right.
Right.
And they know they're in Daytona Beach, and it reflects on us.
Yes.
Whether it's working with the county, assisting in getting matching grants, that's what you guys do.
Well, we know when
we need
when you get off,
we need to make an effort.
When you get off at LPGA, we know Indigo CDD is responsible for that, and actually they just did an amazing job over there painting the rocks,
the bridge,
and actually doing all the palms, and they're responsible for that little bridge over there, keeping the maintenance over there. So that's what I mean, I'm willing to work with DOT and call the county, but I need to know specifically what I need to be asking them that they're not doing now.
I don't know that I have specifics for you, but I think it's a project I think the city can attack through the county. It's in the city. It's in the city limits of Daytona Beach. I understand it's a county road.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Public Works already does all the maintenance, and I actually think they do a terrific job on Bevel Road. I see them out there on the weekends all the time. And I just don't know exactly with the gateway, because right now I think 400 looks the best it's ever looked, and I've lived over there, before even Pelican Bay, I lived over there, but I've lived over there probably about 35 years. And I think it's the best. And I want to know exactly what I can do, being on the TPO and talking to county leaders and state leaders, what I can actually do to help enhance.
I think all we're asking that it gets put on the list of priorities to discuss and seek out funding for it. And whether it's to the county.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When she asked to put it on the priority, what are the things that you would like for her to take back to them? What would you like to see differently?
The discussion we had on the board was the medians are barren.
Well, we just had those done not too long ago.
I'm talking about the LPGA.
No, I'm talking about Bevel 400. They just resodded and everything and put new planning in there. The city
then
did,
we can,
because we have a maintenance contract with them. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I really do want to help if we're not doing something, and I need to know what I need to do to go back. Would you like to go back to your meeting and kind of discuss it with your board members and maybe get a list together?
Yes, we will do that.
Okay, that would be great. I appreciate it, because I really do want to help with that.
I have some suggestions for that. I think what he's talking about, like when you get off 95, when you get to Ormond, where they have the overpass, it says, welcome to Ormond Beach, something a little bit more welcoming. I don't know if it's really that much the medians, or even when you're on US 1, each of the cities have Port Orange, South Daytona, there's a marker. I know that FDOT is going to be doing US 1 some improvements. Is it this year?
Are you talking about more signage?
Well,
I mean,
I think she's talking about a dynamic entrance.
An
And
entrance.
that Ormond Beach entrance that she's referring to is more dynamic. It
So
just
that's
looks
something
better.
we would need to be talking to DOT more about. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Mr. Rand, I appreciate you wanting us to go over the master plan to kind of see if we have to evaluate it. Are we actually on target with the master plan? Had a conversation with the city manager today about that in terms of, are we making decisions that are reflective of that plan, or are we veering off? So would it be possible in the future at some point to have a little maybe workshop and just go over the individual master plans to see if we're on track? Because I know we have our priorities, that's one thing, but then are those priorities fitting in with the ultimate vision of where the city is going? Any appetite for that?
I agree, and I think we should probably implement a strategy work plan that they mentioned for the Main Street, but as a city whole. Because I did read out vision plan. It hasn't changed that much. I think everyone wants family-friendly, cleaner streets, public safety, quality of life. We're still in the same ballpark as we were 20 years ago. But I think those are the basics, what everybody really wants from their city.
Other questions?
I do have questions.
Okay.
So you spoke about, I want to thank the Economic Development Board for the memo and also for the work that you guys do on the board. In regards to A1A and US1 with blight, and I know that we have a lot of vacant parcels, what are the barriers preventing people from investing, redeveloping? Because we do have prime beachfront
And I'll answer
property
this as
or
an
even-
individual, not as representing the board, okay? Let me do that because, I'm in the real estate business. I have some opinions on that. I think one of the issues we have is, let's take A1A. We've got a community over there that really has a 6 or 7 month season, right? A small business cannot survive on 6 months of business. And you have got small businesses up and down the west side of A1A. They just can't survive. So how do we address that? Do we create events throughout the year? We have one thing on the beach side that everybody who comes to Daytona Beach has to see, and that's the beach, right? In November, December, January, I don't care. You can look at the beach, but you're not doing anything else on the beach, right? For the most part. And I think, so we need economic drivers over on the beach side. I don't know, is it events? Could be events. We need to find a way, in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, to generate more events on the beach side in the down times of the year. And I think that will be reflected in the West Coast businesses improving. A small business can't survive on 6 months of customers. Most can't. So I think other barriers are I think our whole beach side just has an image that and this lends itself to events. So we just have an image that isn't great in certain areas, and I'll leave it at that.
What types of businesses do you think we need to add? We have existing businesses, which we appreciate that they've been there and they have longevity there and they've sort of struggled along with us, and some are doing well. They can always do better. But what types of businesses would you like to see down there?
We need restaurants. We need good restaurants, but we don't have the base to support good restaurants, right? There's a reason why you don't see a franchise restaurant over on the beach side. You got one in Ormond, McDonald's. They got a school behind them. The next franchised restaurant south of there, I think, is Burger King in Daytona Beach Shores. there's a reason why that they aren't over there, because there aren't enough cars to support their business model. There aren't enough people. And that's the issue, and that's where we come back to events to drive traffic to the beachside. We used to have an air show, Wings and Waves. You filled up hotel rooms, and we still have events. Don't get me wrong, but I think there needs to be thought put into how we can generate more events in the off season over there.
And the goal of the events in the off season would be to bring tourists in the off season.
Sell rooms, sell meals, support businesses.
Because generally we believe that if we have stable residences, that the stable homes will then support the local restaurants. But on beachside, the temperature might be different. It might be, again, beachside versus mainland.
I would agree. Anything else? All right. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rand.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7, which is citizen comments. During this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the City Commission on any item on the consent agenda, and I do not have anyone who signed up to speak on the consent agenda.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 9, which are public hearings and quasi-judicial hearings. Item 9A is the Growth Management Planning Department World and Praise Semi-Public Use Permit. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving a semi-public use permit to allow for a place of worship use and specific accessory uses on 4.1 plus or minus acres of land located at 1135 6th Street in the SRF 5 Single Family Residential 5 zoning district in accordance with section 3.4.h of the Land Development Code and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion.
Who was the motion?
I wasn't sure it was Commissioner Henry, so it's on. And who was the second? Commissioner May? All right. Do we have questions or comments?
I do have Mayoral Fuquay here for any questions.
All right. No questions? All right. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 7-0, and let the good work continue and blossom. Thank you all. We're very grateful for what you're doing and what you're going to do, and we are just looking for ways to be supportive of the work, because there's a lot of work to be done, and I believe that you are the people to do the work, and we're the people, all of us collectively, this body, the city, the whole community, we're the people to support the work. So, all right, thank you.
It's truly a blessing,
Yeah.
what you've been given,
Yeah.
and we look forward to what you do.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9B. It's a Growth Management and Planning Department, North Shore of Daytona Beach, voluntary annexation. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance annexing into the city of Daytona Beach 11.15 plus or minus acres of land generally located along the southwest side of West International Speedway Boulevard, south of the southerly terminus of LPGA Boulevard, redefining the territorial boundaries of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, redesignating the boundaries of Zone 4 of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner May.
I do have Jessica Gow here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
No questions? All right. We'll entertain our vote. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign.
No.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9C. It is the Growth Management Planning Department, North Shore of Daytona Beach, Large-Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance adopting a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with Chapter 163, Part 2, Florida Statutes with regard to 175.68 plus or minus acres of property generally located south of the West International Speedway Boulevard, north of Interstate 4, and east of I-4 US 92 interchange, amending the future land use map designation for this property from county low impact urban and environmental system corridor to city mixed use and potential environmentally significant, amending the future land use element neighborhood V development policy to impose limitations on the development of the property, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second.
And I do have Jessica Gao here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
All right, no questions of Ms. Gal. All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign.
No.
Motion carries 6-1.
Move on to item 9D. It's the Growth Management Planning Department, North Shore of Daytona Beach Plan Development General. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 175.68 plus or minus acres of property generally located south of West International Speedway Boulevard at the terminus of LPGA Boulevard from Volusia County Rural Agricultural Center to PDG Plan Development General, approving the North Shore of Daytona Beach Plan District Agreement to allow a mixed-use development with industrial, commercial, and residential uses, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we'll take a motion from Commissioner May and a second from Commissioner Henry. Reed? That was Reed, okay. My
And
apologies.
I do have Jessica Gao here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
No
Mayor,
questions?
I don't have any questions for Jessica, but for these projects that come before us without a specific plan, we're giving them a lot of options what can be built. And in 10 years, I don't think we're going to know really what's going to be built. We could have a couple of scenarios like new mixed use districts with jobs, housing, and retail and tax growth. But the worst case, we could get more apartments, storage, warehouses, and billboards with an unclear public benefit. I'm just looking at what's the area going to look like in 10 years. And with the PDs that we have coming before us, when I spoke to the city manager, he brought to my attention that I always ask the same question, what's going to be there? And currently with our land development code, we do not request a specific plan. It's just multiple uses. And I think Commissioner Cantu brought that up also with a lot of uses and what is actually going to be built. This was for other projects, not for this. So that's my reason for this. And also I'd like to see, we want to explore with our land development code, if we can have project specific details when these projects come before us.
I have a
Let
question.
me, okay. You
I just have a question for Ben. I know I brought this forward before, and I can't even remember, and usually I'm pretty good at remembering. PDs expire, what is it? Where it has to come back?
I'd have to look it up. Commissioner, I know we have an expiration date.
Right,
where
I
they
brought it
lapse without
forward and we
additional
approved
approval,
it.
And we amended the code.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, is it,
I'd have to look it up.
okay, could you look that up real
I will.
quick? I'm sorry.
If I can find it quickly,
I don't know if Commissioner Paris was on when I brought those up because of LPGA. A lot of PDs over there that were expired. You remember it, Jessica? Do you remember when it expired? I figured you did.
For the record, Jessica Gallo, Copco Law Firm, 1 Daytona Boulevard, Daytona Beach, Florida. The land development code change, as I remember it, is that if a PD has already lapsed, if that time frame has already expired, you have to restart the process. It used to
Correct.
be that you could get an extension by resolution. You can still do that under your code if
That
the
was
PD is
under-
still alive.
2 years
Yep.
you could get,
Yep.
right,
Mhm,
okay.
For the commission. Otherwise, it's just the timeline set forward in the agreement. And the big mixed-use development projects like this, where we don't have the end user identified, you usually have 5 years for a first phase to come forward.
Well, Jessica, I know that was something I brought forward, so I thank you for remembering because I couldn't remember. Yes.
Thanks. Dennis Meadows, our planning director. I think it's 5 years. The commission can extend for a maximum of 5 years. They don't have to go to 5 years, but they can go to 5 if they chose.
But we don't have to go to 5.
You don't have to go.
Correct, okay. I don't think you were on when I brought this forward, but it was taken care of? Because I was seeing the same problem over in the LPGA area.
I don't know, it's not really a problem, but I would like to
Well, it was
see
a
what
problem for me.
No, I'm saying for this project, is what are we agreeing to? Right now, we're still agreeing to something open. We don't know what we're going to get. And with all the growth that we've had, I think we should start seeing what we're going to get so we could approve for what we need,
Okay.
public benefit.
Okay. The only way to do that is to look at the PD and then to decide that you don't want some of those things. You don't have to agree to them. The purpose of the PD process came to fruition in the way that it is orchestrated right now, because we were living in a time in Daytona Beach when you couldn't get anybody to do anything. And it was early during my tenure. And so in an effort to make ourselves more appealing, we wanted the PD process to be more appetizing to those who invest in the community. So we opened ourselves to a broader swath of opportunities for investors. And I do not disagree with you that now that we have been more sought after, a more desirous location, that we can be a little less wide open, shall we say. But the PD process, I think, needs to stay as it is, but it requires that the commission look at each project and say, this is what we don't want to be in this location in 5 years or 10 years. So if there's something in this particular project that you don't like or you don't want to see, you have to be able to come to us and then say, I don't like it. Do we want to be this when we grow up? Because we are going to continue to grow up. We're not going to stop growing and evolving, because I think that the faucet has been turned on and we will continue to be a better city. But we should, when people talk about smart growth, smart is planned and doing what you want to do and not leaving yourself wide open to every developer and saying that if they put down 50 things on a PD, you're okay with all 50 of them. It might be 30, it might be 20, it might be 10. But if that's where you want to go and you all want to go as a body, we have to look at this and make some decisions and tighten it down. And then we can start saying to staff, you know, we don't want to be this in this area. Okay? Does that make sense?
I have the west side with all the growth, and I do it all the time. You can ask Jessica. I'm just like the Crossley family we just did recently. I made them take out all the apartment units or whatever it was in there, all of it. So they are pretty easy to work with, because I do it with all the developers. I call them before it comes before us and say, I'm not in agreement with this, and then they go back to their developers and let them know that the zone commissioner is not in agreement, or whatever commissioner, and usually most of the time they work with me. So I even did that on the Hillwood project as well. So.
Yeah. Okay. So does it resonate, what we're saying?
Absolutely. But
Okay.
I still think it's too open for me, this project.
What would you like to remove?
Yeah.
Apartments, storage, warehouses, and I could deal with billboards. I don't know really. I'm looking more for mixed use retail for jobs, to bring jobs into here. And the tax growth also, but mixed use housing. Is it going to be townhomes? Is it going to be single family homes? I mean, I don't know. Do we need more apartments? Is there a need for it?
Well, I mean, that's a questionable issue, because as long as there's a demand, some people would argue that there's a need because there's a demand. But there's nothing wrong with questioning that. And if the commission agrees to that, I think these are the kinds of conversations that you have to be willing to have and wade into them. I know. So, yeah, it has to come back. So that may be something that you may want to meet with them, discuss, and then you have to be willing to convince 3 other people to say that you don't want it, that they don't want it. And I might be one of them. I'll look at it. You tell me the things that are questionable, I'll look at it more closely. And I will do that for any of you if you have something that you don't agree with. But just because it's your zone, for me, doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with you. So we'll have to remember that, okay? So I'm going to write that down. You said apartments? That's what I mean. That's one of the things you don't,
More also if we have like workforce housing that I think we still need, home ownership, and also what are the expected industrial users? So for the retail side, for the commercial side.
Yes. Okay, Jess? Yes, ma'am.
Again, for the record, Jessica Gal, Cobb Law Firm, 1 Daytona Boulevard, Daytona Beach, Florida. Just a little insight into the mix itself. So this is in the mixed-use future land use. And so that land use at the city level does not allow for heavy industrial. So it only allows for light industrial, which we've worked with staff on for the past decade to kind of narrow down. And that is really your warehousing and manufacturing type users, those big job creation type industrial use. Storage is a permitted use in here. When you're looking at the layout of the site, what the vision plan, which is attached to the PD of the different areas, and an allocation of a required percentage of land uses to make sure it is mixed use, that it doesn't become all residential or all industrial. There's a required percentage of each category in that PD agreement, is that there's commercial activation along ISB, where we'd like to see retail users, some commercial office. It then shifts to the residential pocket. It's currently contemplated for a mix of residential, the single-family townhome. The multifamily is envisioned as the site goes back farther towards 95, where it shifts into that warehousing type use, to have either workforce housing or multifamily adjacent to those industrial type users, because single family users or townhome users don't usually like to be in proximity to the industrial uses, but they make sense along that interstate corridor. So this site is just very strange that it hits the interstate and it hits ISB. We want to target that retail commercial growth on ISB to get that activity and then transition back throughout the site, while carving around the existing wetlands and keeping those preserved in the center, which is also required in the PD agreement.
All right. Okay. Did I miss something? Where are we in this item?
We have
A motion and a second,
motion and
right?
a second.
All right. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign.
No.
Motion carries 6-1.
Moving on to 9E, the Growth Management and Planning Department, Avalon Park, Daytona, voluntary annexation. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance annexing into the city of Daytona Beach 27.26 plus or minus acres of land generally located south of West Granada Boulevard between South Timber Creek Road and Interstate 95, approximately 300 feet east of the southern terminus of Riverbend Road, redefining the territorial boundaries of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, redesignating the boundaries of Zone 4 of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So move.
We have a motion and a second.
I do have a speaker on this item, Mr. Mayor. It's Mr. John Nicholson. On the annexation.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. Staff asked me, are you sure you want to speak on E? Don't you want to speak on G? I said, nope, I want to speak on E. In the 90s, we were doing a thing called Take Part 2 with some items on they wanted to develop on the beach side. And I took a look at the city as a whole, and there was a an area stretching from almost Granada down to LPGA that was county. And what would happen is if Ormond had decided to annex that property, Ormond would have gone all the way down to LPGA. So I asked, can we annex that now or in the middle so that Ormond cannot take all of that? Because it doesn't make any sense for them to do exactly what they did on the north end. So yes, I want this because it culminates into a ability to take a bridge over Hand Avenue, which is necessary, not only for Avalon Park in the future, but Granada, if there's no access, you're not going to be able to get to or from it. So Ormond doesn't understand that. There's only so much you can do with the Granada entrance. You cannot widen it any further. So you need an alternate. The developer is willing to work on this. This is a needed property. We absolutely need this. Now, I spent almost 6 hours at the Peabody on Monday on Avalon Park, the water, the whole 9 yards, and we ended up with a lose, lose, lose. Everybody loses. Ormond doesn't get to sell any water to Daytona Beach. Daytona Beach doesn't get any control over any water nor any revenues from the water and sewer. And Avalon Park has to dig out of their pocket to recreate a water system that already exists in both Ormond and Daytona Beach. So everybody loses. Avalon Park was anticipated, 80 years ago. In the 60s, they anticipated Daytona Beach would be 250,000 people by the year 2000. We didn't hit 250,000 people by the year 2000. We had anticipated growing in this area. Avalon Park is just a growth that had always been anticipated. Ormond has been west of 95 for 30 years. We are just now catching up with Ormond's westward growth. So Avalon Park is needed. It's a great concept because if we had developed it 30, 40 years ago, it would have been tract housing. We're getting a much better, a much more modern, a much more ecological development than we would have had in the past. So yes, we need this parcel for them. They need it, and we need it. Thank you.
Okay, that was my only speaker on the annexation.
All right. Do we have a question? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a comment. See, like a project like this, there's a long-term vision. They're creating a community. This is something that we know is going to be contained within itself, and there's also public benefits with roads being built and infrastructure being put in. So when projects like this come before us, I know what I'm voting on. So I just wanted to make that comment.
I understand. All right, we have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
So we're going to move on to item 9F. It's Growth Management Planning Department, Avalon Park, Daytona. This is a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance adopting a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with section 163.3187 Florida statutes with regard to 27.26 plus or minus acres of land generally located south of West Granada Boulevard between South Timber Creek Road and Interstate 95, approximately 300 feet east of the southern terminus of Riverbend Road, amending the future land use map designation for this property from Volusia County Low Intensity Urban and Environmental Systems Corridor to mixed use, amending the future land use element neighborhood B development policy to limit development on the property to 80 residential units and 479,448 square feet of non-residential space, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
I do have one speaker on this item, Mr. Mayor. Is it Shauna Lohman?
Hello, my name is Shanna Lohman. I'm at 50 Herringbone Way, Ormond Beach, Florida. So I've lived here about 18 years. I am about 300 feet behind Avalon Park as it is to be developed. And I want to start by reading the definition of an environmental system corridor from volusia.org. This I'm a little nervous, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah. This designation consists of important ecological corridors comprised of environmentally sensitive and ecologically significant lands. Land-use activities occurring within these corridors shall not degrade these natural functions and connections. The intention is to provide protected natural pathways which connect to other protected areas such as parks, conservation lands, and water bodies. This interconnection helps maintain the ecological integrity and ecodiversity of the county's vast natural resources. I also want to note that under the ESC designation, the maximum residential density shall not exceed 1 dwelling unit per 25 acres. I also want to look at the LIU designation. Gross residential density shall not exceed 1 dwelling per acre. At least 20% of the total development site is set aside for the preservation of upland habitat sited in an ecological strategic manner. So, for instance, adjacent to wetlands. Included in an environmental systems corridor would be things like wetlands and floodplains. Encroachment into wetlands and wetland buffers shall be avoided to the maximum extent. So, as I've heard about Avalon Park, this would be about 2,760 acres, 8,818 units, which is about, if my math is correct, 3 units per acre, which explains why we're looking to rezone to mixed use here. And I would ask why we have zoning laws in the first place. So to put such an effort into protecting something, is it something that is intrinsically worth being protected? Or does its value fluctuate based on how much money somebody has when asking about it? Is it survival of the richest, I would ask. Now for me, growing up here for the past 18 years, I've loved seeing the gopher tortoises walk by the side of the property. I've loved to see the deer, even hear about the bears. And I worry that if we're taking not only for Avalon Park, but every system of acreage that is rewriting these zonings within this situation, will my kids have the same experience that I did with their wildlife? Will my kids' kids? And at this rate, although there are many valuable things that have been put forward, it just doesn't sit right with me. And I am opposed to the rezoning, and I think we should preserve our ecological systems corridors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was our only speaker on the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment.
All right, do we have any questions or comments? We have a motion. Second, no other comments or questions. All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
We're going to move on to item 9G, which is the Growth Management Planning Department, Avalon Park, Daytona Plan Development General. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 2,841 plus or minus acres of property, generally located along the North Timber Creek Road, south of West Granada Boulevard and west of Interstate 95, from Tomoka Parcel A, Planned Development General, Volusia County and Volusia County Rural Residential and Resource Corridor to Avalon Planned Development General, approving the Avalon Park Daytona Planned District Agreement to allow a mixed-use development with 8,818 residential dwelling units and 1,091,150 square feet of non-residential uses, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So move.
We have a motion and a second.
And I do have a number of speakers on this item.
Mayor, before we listen to speakers, can I say a few things? Because it might eliminate a few of those.
Okay.
Okay. I'll probably repeating some of the stuff I said last for the first reading. What I want to say is there was 3,250 homes that was already approved in 2018. There's nothing we can do about that. just so everybody is on the same page. Also, this is probably going to be a 20 to 25 year span. And the developer is putting in $120 million with a road infrastructure as well. He cannot even move to the next phase unless the road infrastructure is put in place, which that's what I like because we're guaranteed. Also, they hand overpass by the county and the state, which is going to be another $75 million, which a total of $200 million. Biot has offered to give land for a police substation and a fire substation, correct? Also, land for a charter school if needed by the Volusia County School, correct? And I've always had a problem in Zone 4 with parking. Almost every neighborhood I have over there, Bayberry, everywhere. And they have agreed, and parking has been taken care of. We will have street parking, which is not allowed in most of the neighborhoods over there off LPGA. So I do want to say thank you. Plus, you will actually have a home in there as well. Okay. But there is one thing I wanted to discuss with the commissioners. Most of the people in my zone are pretty much okay. There might be a couple. I've been communicating very, very well once a month with my people over there. I've had a few, and I think some of the commissioners have been copied on a couple emails, but I've had quite a few emails from Ormond Beach. And there was a couple things that they have asked me, and I do not see where there's a problem at all by adding in the PD that, and it's only one sentence, that Avalon will not use Booth Road for construction activities. I have talked to Avalon today, their team. They have talked to Biot, and he has no intention of using Booth Road. Am I correct on that? And, okay, just put your finger up because you have to come to the mic. And you are okay with adding that into the PD as well? Okay, so I would like to have that added into the PD. I've actually talked to the county too to see if there's any reason that Booth Road should not be added into this PD, that Avalon will not use it. And it's a little dead-end road, and they couldn't see anything as well. So
just to clarify, Commissioner, you said will not use the Booth Road for construction.
Okay, yes,
Activities?
Avalon will
Thank
not use Booth Road for any construction activities. And is everyone in agreement with that, to add that into the PD? You are? Okay. You're in agreement? So, Mr. Gross, can you add that into the PD?
If at the time of the vote, the motion includes that additional language, then it'll be.
Okay, so do I need to make amend my, it was me.
And Henry.
Yes.
Okay, so I make a motion to amend and add.
Those 8 words.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and who seconded it? You
Henry.
did, okay.
And you amend your second. Okay.
Is that it?
And just
That's
for
it.
the record, Avalon is amenable to that change. They've nodded assent for
Yes.
the record. Thumbs
Okay.
up.
All right. We have a motion and a second. We have speakers.
Yes. Our first speaker is Ted Rhodes, and on deck is Joan Powell. And please state your name and address for the record.
My name's Ted Rhodes. I live in Ormond Beach off Highway 40. So the decisions who are made here tonight will impact my family in a very direct way. You have to pardon me after Ms. Cantu, her statements. I've had to amend my statements on the fly here. This is not a development. This is a city, okay? And this city will put 20,000 people added to this area. That's a lot, especially on the road where I live, okay? It's a fallacy that growth increases revenues to the point where it increases quality of life. Okay, the key, because increased people require more services. The key metric to measure is revenue per capita, not total revenue. Let's see here. We know, all right, let me say this. We know that this commission is under no legal obligation to approve these rezoning applications. It sort of looks like it's probably a done deal already. All right, why can't, now we're talking about a partial payment for infrastructure. Mr. Colley here is going to pay some of it. Why not 100%? Okay, and making it a partial, these are in-kind subsidies to Mr. Colley, who, by the way, I think he has a $33 million stake in Avalon Group. I don't blame you for that. I think it's great. But what we're talking about is regressive taxation and regressive spending. Okay, I would like Mr. Colley to pay 100% of it. So, I mean, we're talking about a transfer of wealth. Now, if this city denies this, it retains negotiation leverage, okay, to reduce the footprint of this monumental city that's going to be put in here. Okay, I would ask you to consider the second and third order effects of what we're about to put in here. And I encourage you to closely examine these decisions and how they have a greater impact on the community at large. The Planning Board has recommended carte blanche approval of this rezoning application. And I suggest this body blocks the Avalon Park. I'm not suggesting that they do it at every turn, but let's be reasonable, all right? It's not fair to ask the residents to pave his road in gold.
Time has expired. Our next speaker is Joan Powell, and on deck is Jane Holland.
Hi, I'm Joan Powell, and Avalon Park, is, 112 Via Roma, Ormond Beach, sorry. Okay. Avalon Park is bringing revenue to Daytona, but what is it going to bring to Ormond Beach? It will bring the following: massive traffic on State Road 40, Granada Boulevard. Traffic is already a nightmare, and at certain times of the day, 2 of the 3 subdivisions on the Ormond Beach side that want to go east on State Road 40, it's difficult getting across. Homes in the 3 subdivisions, Indian Springs, the Tuscany of Ormond Beach, which is Il Villaggio, breakaway trails. Homes are $400,000 plus up to $1 million and over. And you want to put an attainable housing starting at $200,000. What do you think that's going to do to our property values being 300 feet away from the north side of State Road 40 in Ormond Beach? What is it going to do about crime? It will increase due to the number of people in there, the homes, condos, apartments. It will affect our quality of life, increase the number of law enforcement, and that will be an additional cost to the city of Ormond Beach. This in turn will raise our taxes. Major work has been done on a retention pond directly across the street on the Daytona side, in front of the Tuscany of Ormond Beach, Il Villaggio subdivision. The pond is at a much higher level right now, and we are not in our rainy season. Where is all that water gonna go? They don't even know if it's gonna work or not, draining off the water. It's gonna come out onto Highway 40. It has been stated that most traffic will be contained in Avalon development. That's a joke. Look at the villages. Water is highly critical in our area due to severe ongoing drought conditions, extreme water shortage, restrictions, and heavy reliance on the vulnerable local aquifer. Ormond Beach are under a mandatory Phase 3 extreme water shortage declared by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Aquifer vulnerability. The EPA has designed a sole source aquifer, meaning that there is no alternative drinking water source. Sources should become contaminated or depleted. We can't change what has already been approved, but the rest of this land project must be stopped now.
Our next speaker is Jane Holland, and Leslie Archin is on deck.
Good evening. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Jane Holland. I live at 6 Traceway Court in Ormond Beach in a beautiful subdivision. And we are a group of us. If you could raise your hands or stand up, all of us, we all live in this area of Southern Trace. And we were very fearful of Avalon's kind of their building around us and past us. And so we were very concerned about construction traffic on our road, Booth Road. And we are very grateful for support and agreement that you will not use our residential street for construction. And so we thank you very much. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Leslie Archin, and on deck is Gary Lowe.
I'm Leslie Avchin, 16 Southern Trace Boulevard. I'm the president of the Southern Trace Homeowners Association, and I would just like to express appreciation to the commission for your decision to keep Booth Road safe for traffic and pedestrians, and also for the developers' agreement to be part of that. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Gary Lowe, and on deck is Shannon Lohman.
Hello, my name is Gary Lowe. I live at 43 Carriage Creek Way in Ormond Beach. My home backs up Granada Avenue, just to the east of the traffic light at Granada and Breakaway Trails. I can appreciate that standing in front of the Daytona Beach City Commission and not the Ormond Beach City Commission, but I would welcome the commission considering or providing the same consideration to my request as you have to the folks who just spoke. It's been agreed that the Avalon Park construction would not go through their area. And I'd like to request similar consideration. I don't know what the plans are for traffic and the construction of Avalon Park, but I would appreciate the same consideration that they not utilize that entrance at Granada, or that location, that light at Granada, for construction access. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Shanna Lohman, and on deck is Charlene Lohman.
Hello, Shanna Lohman, 50 Herringbone Way, Ormond Beach, Florida. So invest in the community is something that was said earlier, and I'd like to ask if this is investment to benefit the community or investment to benefit the investor. And ideally, we would have both. But as I'm listening to this, I was reminded of a comedy bit that I heard a little while ago. It's two improv comedians in the form of an interview. One of them related how he found $100,000, and through his amazing investment potential, turned it into $16,000. And that's a little bit of how I felt when I saw that although there's going to be 8,800 units, which times a U.S. average household size of about 3 people is going to be about 27,000 folks, is projected to offer 2,600 new full-time jobs. And what I have heard in my research about Avalon Park is there is a concern about integration. It's, quote, a town within a town. How is that town going to benefit the people who already live here? The citizens of Daytona Beach and the citizens of Ormond Beach. Because 2,600 jobs on a market that's already pressed. I just graduated college a little while ago. I know a lot of young graduates like myself are very worried about our job market and our futures. And when we've got 27,000 people coming in, that gets a lot more harrowing. I'd also like to, speaking of education and schools, I note that there's a $50 million impact fee that's going to be paid to City of Daytona Beach, I believe, and land allotment for a new school. But on the Ormond Beach side of things, Pathways Elementary and Pine Trails, the 2 elementary schools in the area, have been over 100% capacity for the past 3 years. Like 100 students over level of capacity. So this new school is not going to serve the local residents. It seems it will only serve the residents of the town within a town. So in terms of education, in terms of jobs, this is not serving the local community at all, I feel. I know we've already spoken about the traffic. I do want to point out that Granada and LPGA have been over capacity since 2024. And as I've heard it, Avalon's projected traffic kind of projections have been based on improvements that have not yet been made. I had another point. Well, honestly, when it comes to integration and supporting the locals, I don't feel represented. I do feel built around, as others have been saying, and I do wonder who is this for? Because I don't feel like it's for me, and I don't feel like it's for any of the residents whom I've talked to. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Our next speaker is Charlene Lohman, and on deck is Dwight Durant.
Hello, thank you for welcoming me. I'm your neighbor in Ormond Beach, and Avalon Park is to be 300 feet within my neighborhood. So thank you for listening to me. I ask you tonight to pause and seriously consider the long-term consequences of what is being approved here. This is not a minor development. According to the city's own staff report, the planned development up to 8,818 residential units and more than 1 million square feet of commercial and mixed-use development. That is effectively the creation of an entirely new city sector in western Volusia County. And yet, the same documents acknowledge that transportation concurrency approval has not yet been issued. Residents already raised concerns about traffic congestion, flooding, roadway capacity, bridge adequacy, emergency access, and construction impacts during neighborhood meetings. Those concerns are not theoretical. Anyone who drives Granada Boulevard, Williamson Boulevard, Timber Creek, which may not be you as you guys are in Daytona, but thank you for listening to Ormond. We can tell you there's already a strain, and it's already mismanaged, I believe. It's so bad. The traffic is already so bad before we even build this project. And despite that reality, the city is being asked to approve massive long-term entitlements now, while many of those critical infrastructure questions are deferred to future phases, future studies, and future site plan reviews. The documents also state this project may build out over approximately 30 years. That means this vote is not simply about today, it is about the shape of this region for the rest of our lives and for generations after us. And once this level of intensity is approved and built, there is no going back. No future commission will be able to restore lost wetlands, remove thousands of vehicle trips, undo chronic congestion, or reverse regional flooding impacts that the landscape has fundamentally changed. The project also requests numerous waivers and deviations from normal development standards, including buffers, landscaping, setbacks, parking, and dimensional requirements. At some point, we have to ask, is this if this development is fully compatible with the long-term capacity of this area, why are so many standards being relaxed to make it work? I understand developers will profit from this project. That is expected. But you are not elected to protect developer timelines. You are entrusted to protect the long-term well-being of this community and the responsible stewardship of its roads, water systems, floodplains, emergency access, and quality of life. So I ask you respectfully, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Do you want to be remembered as the commission that demanded infrastructure first, accountability first, and responsible growth first? Or the commission that approved massive long-term intensity based on future promises that roads, drainage, and infrastructure would someday somehow catch up? Please require independent flood modeling, build binding transportation triggers, and guarantees that major infrastructure is operational before high-density phases proceed. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dwight Durant, and on deck is Robert Gilmore.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Dwight Durant. I live at 286 Booth Road in Ormond Beach, Florida. And my concern has been graciously addressed already by the Commission with the help of Ms. Cantu and BI, which I have not met, but I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next speaker is Robert Gilmore, and on deck is John Nicholson.
My name is Robert Gilmore on 8 Southern Trace Boulevard, Ormond Beach. Amending my statement, I'd like to thank the commissioners and Avalon for writing into the documents that we're not going to use Booth Road for transportation of construction materials. I would like to add, though, that the traffic along Granada Boulevard is horrendous. I'm a lifetime Volusia County resident, 58 years. I've seen Granada Boulevard when it was 2 lanes all the way out. It's a mess now. And we're going to add 8,000 houses out there. It's only going to get worse. So that's something I would like all of you to consider when you make this decision. Thank you.
Our next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Karen Lawler.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. In the 90s, Jack White suggested that instead of the development that we've always had in the past, that we create nodes, downtowns, additional downtowns, rather than having everybody go down to Beach Street, all cluttering the road, getting to and from, that we create nodes where people can get to do things in their own neighborhoods, creating little neighborhoods to ameliorate building more roads and more roads. This is basically what this gentleman is doing. Secondly, they're concerned about roads being built in the future. One of the first things he said was, we need to put the infrastructure in first. He said that 4 years ago. Now, he's been waiting 4 years for Ormond to do what they promised that they would do. And since Ormond doesn't want this, they've been delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. So they've got a way around it. It's coming, and they're doing everything that they said they would do. All right? If you remember, there's a place called Pelican Bay. It was not all built at once. Indigo wasn't all built at once. LPGA is still being built, and that's 30 years ago. They're still developing in LPGA. So this development for 30 years is logical. It's what they're doing. The few waivers that they are asking, we are getting over 1,000 acres preserved right next to the forest. He's giving it to us free. We don't have to spend Volusia Forever funds in protecting our water sources, in protecting our animals. He's giving it to us free. That's a gift. I will definitely waiver some things in order to get that kind of a gift. Ormond Beach has been saying how busy Granada is. There is no way for any resident in the city of Daytona Beach to get to Granada. If you look at those maps, there's no way to get to Granada right now. Not one person uses Granada. All that traffic is in Ormond Beach using Granada. And he is going to create a way for them to get around that. There's a road that goes through Margaritaville, and it stops at Margaritaville. What's the name? Okay. He's going to connect that to Granada. And guess who's going to use it? Ormond Beach. And when Hand Avenue goes in across 95, guess who's going to use it? Ormond Beach. So who's going to benefit? Well, they keep saying it's of no benefit to Ormond Beach. Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Karen Lawler, and on deck is Nick Saknowski.
Thank you for your attention. I'm just, Commissioner Cantu, when you address the concerns with Booth Road, and you want to amend the language, I'm concerned about Old Tomoka Road, where it comes from International, West International. There's just one street. I didn't know if that could be included with the language of Booth Road, because if they're not going to use Booth Road, I just want to make sure that they don't use the back road too. It's called Old Tomoka Road, and it goes from Western International to Booth. It just connects to Booth. I just wanted to know if that was going to be included in the language.
Old Tomoka Road is where the school is?
No, it's just one little road. It goes from West International, where the Cracker Barrel and the McDonald's are, and it runs behind the
other
that we're talking about.
the other Old Tomoka Road.
They're not going to use. I just wanted to.
Yeah, it's not even close at
Oh, it
all.
is. It connects to Booth Road. You get to the stop
Go to
sign. It's
Avalon.
Booth Road.
Is it?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, we can't have people speaking from the audience.
Wait a minute, Jim. Wait, just let her finish.
Is that Old Tomoka Road or is that interchange?
Yeah,
It's West International is where McDonald's, Cracker Barrel, and there's 3 hotels. You make a right. There's a storage area. It's just a back street. I just wanted to make sure that they weren't using either. That's all my
Can we let her
concern is.
finish? Or?
Thank you for your time.
Okay, can you explain that on is it interchange? Please. Wait a minute, I need him to.
Commissioner Jim Morris, Deputy City Manager. The lady was referring to interchange, not international.
That's what I thought, okay.
And it's a sort of a horseshoe type shape. When you see Booth and interchange, they kind of come to a horseshoe. Absent the connection to Booth, there's no reason to go to interchange. It's not signalized, and it's also much closer to 95. So you've covered it, I think, with the language you've already got.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nick Saknowski.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, Nick Saknowski, 1130 Fence-Up Court, Daytona Beach. Live in Margaritaville, moved there in 2019. So this development, of course, is not a shock or surprise to anybody. They're in the movement of, or the transfer of some of the units from the annex property and the property near, I guess it's whatever the road is over there on the east of 95, because it wasn't really buildable. But anyway, 8,800 units. The concern I have, and I attended the preliminary info that they did over at the hotel, and one of the 2 things pointed out. When I first got out of college, I was in transit planning down in Dade County, and I've seen many developments come and go. And I also worked for Public Works in Broward County and Bridge and Highway Construction Division. And there's a couple things, and transportation is the issue. So Timber Creek dead ends at the north end of Margaritaville now, and unless it's changed, they were proposing that when they continue it upward, they're going to build, because the right-of-way is this big, but right now the Timber Creek that was built by Minto, and then it's deeded to the county, it has its center line and it has 1 lane each direction. But they're proposing, or what they said at the hotel meeting was, they're going to put both of the lanes on one half of it, not in the middle, which means I would like to see more about that transition, unless they fix that, because it doesn't make sense to go 2 lanes with no median and say someday in the future the county will build the other half of it. Now, it should be very continuous and it should flow properly. Second thing is that there's no question that obviously traffic goes 2 directions. The state is ultimately going to be responsible for improving Granada and eventually ultimately going to be responsible for improving LPGA because the county wants to swap, make it a state road instead of a county road, which it currently is. At any rate, the traffic flow is going to be just too much to be handled at this stage. So the staging does matter. The Hand overpass in Broward County took 15 years to get an overpass over I-75, minimum 15 years, and that's after the plans are done. They're so complex to get that over. That is really, many of us won't be alive when that happens. So let's focus on the connection. I'm asking you to focus on that connection with Timber Creek, make sure the flow is proper, that people don't have to shift over, and that they actually have a plan for actually four-laning the whole thing, because the traffic is already there. This is not going to be a 55 and older. We have fewer cars. This is going to be for everybody. They're going to have more cars. So 8,800 units is going to turn into 15,000 vehicles. That's more than what Margaritaville's generating. And we're already backed up. So those are the elements that I'm very concerned about, the transportation parts of it. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Janine Perkowski, and our final speaker on this item is Doyle Lewis.
Hello, I live at 231 Pop Top Lane in Daytona Beach, and actually I'm just seeking clarification. We've been talking about construction and where is it going to go? Is that outlined anywhere in the where will all the construction trucks? Okay. Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to use Tournament Drive or Timber Creek, because that's my concerns. Okay. And then the waivers and everything that are in this particular proposal, how does it impact Tournament Drive? Are they reducing the buffers to that at all? That road that
And I'm sorry, ma'am, you have to address the commission when you
yes.
talk.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know, but if Jim, okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Our final speaker is Doyle Lewis.
Doyle Lewis, United States. Growth happens. And this is going to happen. People need a place to live and affordability. Just cut down the density in the area. That way the traffic won't be so bad. Plan on the traffic. There's two main concerns I have for Granada and A1A, LGPA. It's the traffic and the flooding. If they decide to do this and it goes through, make sure you make larger runoff pipes or canals to handle what might come next. The 50-year storm that we've been getting every 3 years. Put that in there. That will help everything in the area because everything's going to change once that's built. Our newer communities don't flood that much, but at least make this one take a little bit more of that runoff water so it doesn't make a problem with the other people. The people that's been living there for 30 years, 70 years. Put that in the planning. The Army Corps of Engineers had just done a study around the area. If it's in a flood zone, it's going to flood. Well, when you build something close to any flood zone or a natural habitat, everything's going to change it. Just the sound of the automobiles, all the animals will leave. I lived out in the middle of nowhere. When you build something there, the noises itself will make the wildlife leave. So if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. There's no way to change it. But make sure this doesn't give any runoff to anywhere else to the roads. Put this in planning now. That way it can help the other communities too. My name is Doyle Lewis, and I've been building things my entire life. My stepdad was in sand and gravel. His dad was in sand and gravel. He built roads. He built dams. He built lakes. My dad was an over-the-road trucker. Flooding and traffic is your biggest issues. Thank you.
That was our final speaker, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have other questions or comments?
Mayor, I'd just like to say one thing. Some of the residents, I've heard them speaking, they act like all these units are going to happen overnight. And this is a 25 year span. It's not happening overnight. And one thing I do like about this developer than a lot of developers I worked with is that he can't even move on to the second phase unless infrastructure is in place. We don't normally see that. And if you look on LPGA, you know we do not see that. So this is something I do commend you guys for making sure. Plus, I heard about schools. He's willing to give land for charter schools. I've heard about police and fire. Someone said that we're putting a lot of strain on Ormond. We're going to have substations in there that he's giving land to as well. And I don't know how many people has actually been to Avalon and Orlando, but if you haven't, you really need to go because it is a city like in a city, but it's not really, and the public is welcome in, but it's not like you even need to go out of that area. But it will help relieve traffic as well on 40 and on LPGA because you're not going to see people wanting to go out. They stay in. And in that community, there will be jobs created in that community. And I have been there. So if you haven't been to Avalon, I please recommend going out there and taking a look in Orlando. And ma'am, your question will be answered afterwards. And that's all I have to say.
I did want to say that I appreciate the residents from Ormond coming and addressing their issues and concerns because quality of life is important. And the amount of time it takes you to get somewhere, travel somewhere, all of those things do affect your quality of life. I work in Ormond, right there at Tomoka Elementary, so I know everything that you all were saying. That's the way I get to my job in over 10, 15 minutes, and I'm crying. So I get it. But I do want to say also that I was one of the original commissioners on the commission when we started this project. And the first thing I did was went to Avalon and Orlando. I drove around. I tried to cover the entire area. In fact, it was really great because I got to see the community in action because my son actually had a football game in Avalon. And I was really concerned about whether or not they would truly invest back into your community. But you have to go and you have to see it. Because when I got there, you have these people and they're honestly, they're not even driving cars. They're driving golf carts. They're getting to their games and to the stores and everything that they were doing pretty much were on golf carts because it is kind of a community within a community. And so it was not overwhelming. I wasn't overwhelmed when I was there. I wasn't overwhelmed in traffic when I was there. And when you talk about your property value, if you've ever seen it, your property value is not going to be an issue or a concern. And I sat with Biat, and the first thing that I said to him was that it would have to be something that sustained itself. Something that big would pretty much kind of need to sustain itself. And he intensely went over everything with me. I had several meetings with them. So it was not just one meeting, it was several meetings. before I felt comfortable about supporting this particular project. And I think I felt that he's really concerned about the community. He's not here to tear the community down. He's actually here to put into the community, because he's not here to just take. If there are things that that community is going to need, he's willing to invest in those things. At least that's what he told me, and that's what the plans, and I believed him when he said those things, because I saw the other Avalon. And so if you get the chance, before you knock it, even commissioners, if you get the chance, go see it. You're gonna see something totally different than what you can't really see it in your mind. You're trying to imagine it in your mind. It's something you have to experience before you can really get a good idea of what it looks like. So I'm going to support the project tonight. It was one of the original in 2018. I said that I would support it, and I am going to move forward in supporting it. But even if you don't get a chance to go see it, research it. Go online, look at it, and see how that community is thriving. And it's still a very much up and coming and thriving community. So I just wanted to say that.
And I agree with you, because I have actually paid a trip to Avalon as well. And it is a
beautiful.
Thriving community.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, I've made 4 trips to Avalon. Some unannounced and unknown by the developer, and 2 or 3 known by the developer. I echo the sentiments that I've heard from both commissioners, and I do understand. And like Commissioner Henry, I drive Granada every day, and I do understand the frustration of Granada, especially at the 95 interchange going east at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's not a pleasant experience. And LPGA is not pleasant at 8 a.m. in the morning either. It's a little more pleasant at about 8:15. There's a sweet spot. Sometimes I hit the sweet spot, but most times I miss it. So we're not going to deny that this growth is somewhat painful in some ways. But I'm going to be honest. I have been a resident of Daytona Beach for 57 years. And we are experiencing things right now as a city and a commission that, has our residents concerned and frustrated. But I have waited all of my life for Daytona Beach to grow up. And when I was first elected in 2008 or 9 as a commissioner, Daytona Beach was the only city on the eastern seaboard that had a negative growth rate for multiple years. That, to me, was unconscionable. It just should not have been. When I wake up and I knew where I lived and knew how great this place was, should not have been. And so John, he threw out some numbers that said that the city was projected in the 60s to be a lot more populated than it is now. I can't verify those numbers, but certainly we should not have been where we were. And I am appreciative of us being in a spot where we can attract a developer of this magnitude, and barring none, he has been the most opaque, transparent of all the developers that I've ever worked with or heard from. And I live in LPGA, and I suffer with LPGA. My family suffers with LPGA. And to the folks in Margaritaville, I say this when I visit you. There are a lot of people that didn't want you either. They didn't want you. So they didn't want you. And I don't want you to get here now and just wake up and say, oh, another development. Well, you can say it, yeah. But this one is going to take a while to build. Your developer came in here like a lightning rod and packed his bags and got the hell out of here as quick as he could and hadn't left a pleasant aftertaste. You are welcome and you want it. Said that all along. Wouldn't have signed off on it if I didn't personally want you. But your developer, there are other sentiments concerning their operation, and you all are experiencing some of that. So look forward to the vote. We have a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye. Aye. Those who are in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Mm-hmm. 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 Take care, man. Good to see you.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. See you. See you. Bye. Thanks. Noted. Bye. I will. Absolutely. See you. Bye.
Okay, we have to continue on with our meeting, so if everyone can leave as quietly as they can. Okay, we have no introductions of ordinances tonight, so we're going to move on to item number 11. Item on our administrative items, item 11A is the Public Works Department acceptance of CEI Services Contract 2509. This is a resolution pursuant to RFP 2509, approving an agreement with Newkirk Engineering, Inc. for construction engineering inspection services for Beach Street, Complete Streets retrofit from Bay Street to Michigan Avenue at a cost not to exceed $732,373.51, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the services contract and providing an effective date.
So move.
We have a motion and a second.
I do have one speaker,
John
Mr.
Nicholson.
Mayor, Mr. John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. If you know where Michigan hits Beach Street, it's basically where Josie Rogers Park is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping they're going to raise the street as they come down, because as you know, it floods, all right? But at this point, we have a dip right there. And you have about 4 feet of water now. So if you raise Michigan, it's going to be even deeper, all right? So what do we anticipate doing? Because Main Street is still being used. People use the Main Street Bridge. So I know you're planning on working on Beach Street from Fairview to Mason. It's needed, it's absolutely needed. But that intersection right there floods drastically. Mason floods from Fairview to, Beach Street floods from Fairview to Mason. So if you redo that street, it's like 2 feet underwater, because on a really stormy day, you cannot drive Mason. You cannot drive Magnolia downtown. Magnolia is underwater. So those are the areas that we're improving nearby, but you still, to get from one point to the next, you have to go down Magnolia. You have to go down Beach Street. You have to get past Main Street, that intersection. You're going to have to go down Mason eventually. So at this point, I don't know what you're planning on down Beach Street, but it's got to go up. Otherwise, all that nice building, they can only go south, they can't go north. Thank you.
That was our only speaker, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Did we have, who was the motion?
Cantu was the
Cantu,
motion,
okay.
and Commissioner Henry was the second.
Cantu, Henry. All right, we have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Mayor, I do have a question, because
my
I just
apologies.
realized this. So I'm looking at 11A, it says, "In the amount not to exceed $732,373 with 51 cents." But on the sufficiency of funds certificate, it says that the local portion city's grant match is $1,259,728. Is that correct?
Yes, I know David Waller will come out at this time.
Good evening, David Waller, Public Works Director. This item is specifically for the CEI services. It is required that we pass this ahead of being able to bid the project for construction. The city match portion is for the entire project.
Is it 732 or is it 1.2?
What you're approving tonight is $732,000, not to exceed. For the inspection services, the 1 million and change number is the anticipated public city share for the entire project, including construction.
So are we approving the whole amount? So should the sufficiency of funds show which amount?
I think the agenda item reflects that the money for this was already approved when the LHAP agreement was approved. The sufficiency of funds in the packet is the sufficiency of funds from December of 25 for that LHAP agreement. There was no new sufficiency of funds provided with this item because the sufficiency was approved for the overall LHAP agreement.
That is correct.
So where's the other $500,000? That's where I'm a little confused, right? Because it's asking, it's not exceeding 732, but we're approving 1.259.
You've already approved.
You've already approved that.
Approved
We're
that.
this is how we intend
So
to
this is
spend.
going to, this 732 is included in this amount?
Correct.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, moving on to item 11B. It's the Public Works Department, Derbyshire Park, Phase 1, Master Planning and Pre-Design Services. This is a resolution. A resolution pursuant to RFP 2612, approving an agreement with Castle Bay Design Studio LLC for landscape architecture design services at Derbyshire Park, commencing June 1st, 2026, at a total cost not to exceed $269,250, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
And I have no speakers on this item, Mr. Mayor.
All right, let's go Derbyshire. Motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 11C. It's Utilities Department, All State Civil Construction, Inc. Lift Station number 53 replacement. This is a resolution. A resolution accepting the bid of All State Civil Construction, Inc. for a lift station number 53 improvement project for a contract price of $1,430,896.46, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the construction services contract with All State Civil Construction, Inc., authorizing the return of the bid security of all unsuccessful bidders, and providing an effective date.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second.
And I have no speakers for
No
this item, Mr.
speakers,
Mayor.
okay. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, that was our last agenda item before Commissioner speakers. We start with Commissioner Strickland tonight.
All right, Commissioner Strick?
I have no comments tonight.
Yes, sir. Commissioner May?
I have a lot of comments this evening. Okay. So,
I received an email, and I'd like to have some input. I spoke with the manager about this. We have some benches downtown, and I received an email from some business owners downtown. I'm going to take a moment, and I'm going to just read one of them. They're from the owner of the Crest, and the Crest building represents 30 businesses within one building. And it says, regarding the benches in front of the historic Crest building, yes, we have great interest in seeing it gone. Since the time it's been there, seldom has it been used for its intended purpose as a bus stop. The listed activity now attached out front of our building by this convenient public furniture has been a nuisance to the over 30 independent businesses at the Crest. We would be delighted if this bench goes away. And I've heard similar comments from other business owners downtown. I've driven by a number of times, so I'm not sure what we can do about it, but I am putting it on the record that there is a request that we do something about that particular area in front of the Crest building. So that's number one. Is there anything that we can do?
Is it our bench?
No.
Is this the city's bench?
I believe so.
Yes, we could.
I thought it was a bus bench.
People are using it as a bus bench, but it's a city decorative bench.
So you have received emails. There are 3 benches on Beach Street. The 3 benches on Beach Street are assigned to the bus stops. We received the email from Commissioner May. It went to myself, the redevelopment team, also the police department, as well as David Waller. Staff did note that we didn't think that the bench should be removed because there are only 3 on Beach Street. We saw the images of the individual. Someone was sitting on the bench with, I think they had some type of package or anything, and before we just decided to take the direction from just one individual to remove the bench, when staff and the police department gave a report, as well as myself and David Waller, that we didn't think it should be removed, Commissioner May wanted to bring it up to you all to see if you all wanted to direct us to remove that bench, because staff has made a decision that we didn't think that the bench should be removed off of that street.
So my recommendation to the City Commission is this: take a moment, drive down Beach Street, and see what you see. I know what I've seen. It's in front of the Crest. I've seen multiple people just take a look, and then imagine that's your building or that's your home, with congregation taking place outside of the building. Now, I'm not sure what we can do about that, but please take a moment and drive by, and feel free to speak with the owner of the Crest. I believe it's the mayor of New Smyrna Beach. So if you could take that would be fantastic. Okay, next. With regard to Airbnbs, we had a conversation last week, which I could not find in the archive. I couldn't find the section about Airbnb, but I know that we spoke about it about 2 weeks ago, quite a lengthy discussion. Interestingly, on some streets that I spoke with, I brought it up, different parts of the Zone 3, new Zone 3, expanded Zone 3. On one street, Mr. Mayor, some people are for it, and on the same street, their neighbors are not. So that's going to be a tricky situation as we move forward. I won't say that there's equal. I would say that there's interest on both sides of it, equal and opposite interest. So I'm not sure how we go about making that decision for the residents.
Probably like we do the speed bumps. You know, the street will actually vote whether they want it or not. Let them all have a voice.
I like that idea, if a majority goes, because that way everybody living there knows that this is where they're living and they're making that decision as a group, right? Not a bad idea. This week, I also went to, I'm going to give you the fun stuff later, some more just kind of business. So we're improving Fire Station 1. I think that's fantastic. Again, looking forward to it on June 2nd. My question is, are we also going to be improving the other fire stations? Do we have a maintenance schedule for them? Are we planning on giving them any kind of housekeeping? Because I imagine being a firefighter who isn't in the new firehouse, and thinking, they're getting all kinds of bells and whistles and toys. Like, what are we getting in ours? So I'm just wondering if we're doing anything to sort of refurbish the other fire stations. And again, that one gated area by the air conditioning unit is an eyesore when I drive by it at the old Fire Station 1. Next, I have an area called Dead Man's Curve. Do you know where that is? It's called Dead Man's Curve. So the fact that residents refer to it as Dead Man's Curve is disturbing. The fact that it's dark there at night is disturbing. The fact that there's not a sign that says Dead Man's Curve or S Curve would be nice is disturbing. I'll tell you in a second, I went to the street, I parked my car, and I was advised by residents to move my car because it might be hit. I was parked legally. Then I was told to get off the street, and I thought, okie dokie then, what goes on here? And I sent that to legal to find out what we can do in public works. So I'd like to know, what can we do about the corner of Avery and Arthur? What can we put there? What do I need to make happen to get a sign that says stop and stop, S curve ahead, mirrored type reflection that people can drive and see what's coming around the corner? What can we in fact do? Could somebody please tell me? Anybody?
If it's a local street, the city can post signage if safety warrants it. That's usually something that goes through the public works director or city engineer. That's an administrative decision.
So how can I get that attended to?
We've heard it. It's on the record, and staff will provide information.
Super. That's all I want to hear. Thank you so much. Next, I met with the gentleman it's been a busy week. Let me just say, it's been a really busy week, right? I was talking to the manager about that, saying, I'm sure his life has gotten more busy as well, but it's been a busy week. So golf carts. I've had 2 residents inquire about golf carts. One resident is located close to the golf course on Sycamore. He actually had a very specific request. The request was, would we consider an entrance on that side by Sycamore on Shady? He was wondering if it's a concept. Skylar, I have an intern, Mr. Manager. You encouraged me to have work with some students. I have an intern from Bethune-Cookman. Skylar, say hello. She's graduating soon, so I'm working with her a little bit. She was with me. And the gentleman has a vision of an entrance on Shady that would allow him to access the facilities at the golf course. He would like to use the restaurant there. And right now he has to walk all the way around, but he wants to go there, walk through, and go to the restaurant and use the facilities. And so my question is that even a possibility? It's a thought, but I put it out there, okay? The other thing is, could we clean up Shady Place in terms of the sight line where the golf course is with the fencing? There's debris down there. There's dead foliage down there on the side that belongs to the city. Not only that, but the fencing, the chain link fencing, parts are rusted and parts have collapsed inward. They're just not straight. So could we possibly take a look? MLK and Shady behind the golf course.
Yeah, I thought there was new fencing going on.
Oh, take a look at it. I have pictures of it.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, just on Bevel?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Not so sightly if you're living right in that. Very nice houses back there too, by the way. Very nice houses. Keeping in that area, please. I have a couple of residents I've run into who are in wheelchairs, and navigating the sidewalks, some of the side streets, really challenging. So if I'm in a wheelchair, and you can drive by and you'll see wheelchair ramps, what I'm seeing are fantastically, and I'm grateful, I see fantastically paved new streets, but there's no sidewalk. So if I'm in a wheelchair, I'm dealing with traffic as it goes, and traffic down parts of the new Zone 3, extended Zone 3, with the redistricting, the speeding is horrendous. If I'm in that area, I've got to find safe places to park my car, and I have to ask residents, would they mind if I parked in their driveway as I'm walking or doing whatever I'm doing in the area? So what can we do about that? I know we have plans, I know we have schedules. Do we have a schedule for what happens to our sidewalks? And could I get a listing of sidewalks that are going to be repaired in Zone 3 in the next, let's say, 12 months? In addition, on all the expanded parts of Zone 3 in the Midtown area, I'm trying to understand something. We have, again, a brand new road. I know things happen in phases. I would like to know, is there another phase to adding a lip to the end of the street that's new? The side parts, it just stops and water collects there. Are we planning on putting a lip, a runoff, a galley, a little something where the water can flow? Is that coming later on, or are we just leaving it road, unfinished edge, dirt.
What street is new?
Oh gosh, they've been repaving. Like Arthur's been repaved, Walker's been repaved, Laura's been repaved. Nice, very nice.
Street, 'cause
Exactly.
Okay, because
yeah,
Walker's
I've got.
somewhere.
I mean, where I think St. James Church is on the corner, right close to Child's Academy, right next to Child's, brand new road. And I'm just wondering, is there another part to the road resurfacing where we? So it's just that's just it.
You really should talk to Dave Waller. Just be, he has all these things.
Right.
He can tell you which ones. I don't know, but yeah, just because they resurface a road doesn't mean they're gonna get a sidewalk. That's another expenditure that typically can cost more than the road. So he'd have to explain that to you.
And we're taking all of these things. I don't know the expectation for us to be able to respond to that tonight on all of these questions. It's not. So we're taking them.
Yeah.
We're taking in all of these items, and we'll put them also. There may be some of these answers within the biweekly reports that
Yeah,
goes out
perfect.
every 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you so much. Then on a nicer, calm note, we have this evening, I was a few minutes late because I was at the Turi T Performing Arts Academy. So I went there and they now have a performing arts, I want to say, program that they're instituting. And I watched some of the young students dance, and the drum team was getting ready to go on. And I met with Principal Boyd, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed the facility. Very, very nice. I took a look at our book vending machine. Nice addition to the library. Paula Reed, I love it. Book vending machines. Then we also had our Dickinson food giveaway, and again, it's going really well. And then finally, we had our International Festival at Manatee Island this weekend. I hope that some of you had an opportunity to go. It was a 2-day event. It was well attended. We have some things we have to work through for next year, but I'm hoping that at the next commission meeting, I will have a little video to show you of the events. Were any of you able to make it there? What did you think, Miss Monica? Yeah. I enjoyed seeing all the cultures perform. There were singing events, music events, over 20 plus entertainment type groups came out between the cultural dancing, cultural singing. There was a 12-piece jazz band as well. And we had the first Russian singer to sing in the U.S. after the Cold War ended, something like this. He was there, performing also on stage. So it was a really good representation of the entire community. So thank you so much for coming out. The food was great. Thank you very much. Very busy 2 weeks. Oh, one more thing. Ocean Dunes had a yard sale. I love this concept. I wish we could do it more. Maybe Pelican Bay does it too, where you have a community and maybe 3 or 4 streets decide to have a yard sale. Everyone opens up their garage. It's on a date and time, and you kind of tour the neighborhood as you are checking out. I love it. I think it's a great way for the different streets and neighborhoods to kind of bond, and then at the end they have a little get together. And I encourage it in other neighborhoods. I think it's awesome. You guys do it?
We just started that a couple
I think
years
it's great.
ago, twice a year, and we have times and everything.
I think it's wonderful. I would love to organize something like that in some other communities. I love the community spirit. Thank you. I think it's great.
Hi. So I really didn't want to bring this up tonight. I'm just not in the mood, but I know we have a few residents online saying about these F-250s that I approved these F-250s as well. Yes, I did. I never said I didn't approve these. So can you put this up? Thank you. Okay, so on 517, I'm going to run this through so everybody that's watching and everybody that's here that wanted to come up and speak tonight, I just want everybody to know on 517, 8 F-250s was approved for $460,000. Okay, out of the excess P&L fund. And we actually, if you look at the agenda summary, which will be at the bottom, we never actually approved those 8 F-250s for the marina whatsoever or for the boat of the marina. On 4/3/24, the City Commission approved 3 F-250s at $175,000 out of the special revenue fund. And we never approved those, if you look at the agenda summary, for any marina at all. It was all for construction sites, for new construction sites, and the same as the one before that. On 6/11/2024, we had a P&L workshop. And the link is down below, so this is up online. You'll be able to go to the workshop and watch it. And in that workshop, it actually said we had $19 million with the P&L funds and a little bit over $11 million in 2024. And actually, if you watch the whole entire thing, it will actually tell you that, yes, we approved 12 F-250s. Yeah, it was 12 and the 150 F-150, and on there out of the special revenue fund. Then on 7/17/2024, we approved the F-150 for $51,504. That was never approved for the marina as well. And actually, if you read the bottom of that, it was approved. On JLAC, it actually said it was approved for emergency management inspections, which on the agenda summary, what we approved it for. Okay, and then on 11/3/2025, JLAC Tallahassee meeting, there was a draft made, and all these F-250s and the 150 was on that draft, and it said completed and paid for. Well, at the Tallahassee meeting that the mayor attended on 11/3/2025, staff gave them something totally different, a corrective action plan, and the trucks weren't listed on there. 2/4/2026, I brought up at a commission meeting regarding 6 of those F-250s, and why did they have marine unit on the side of them? And what kind of construction that we need 6 F-250s at the marina? We have 1 boat. Okay, well, I was told it was fiction, my imagination. Well, it's not. I saw them. Okay, on 2/20/26, an agenda review meeting, I actually asked, and I have a recording of that, and anybody can ask for it because Letitia has it, and they knew I was actually recording them, and I asked, how much excessive funds do we have? And every time I would ask, or how much interest, they just told me it's out of the 160 fund. I know what the 160 fund is. That's permanent licensing. But we should know as a commission how much excess funds we have right now and how much interest we have. And to Mr. Fiecher's credit, I did get half of that actually today, and I've been asking since last year. And after that JLAC meeting, I even have it, which I can read it to you, which I'm not going to unless you want me to. It says in the minutes, Mr. Fiecher, when I asked about that, he would give it all to us, and he never did. So I'm just bringing that up. May 2020, oh, okay. Then also on 5/12/26, after that agenda review, and after the commission meeting, I brought up the Marine unit. There was a newly created Marine unit division for P&L done this year. Okay. However, the official Marine unit has always been in place with the Daytona Beach PD and has been there since 1993. So then after I brought that up, all of a sudden, and I can show you proof when it was put up there, right after I did this. And then sometime in May, the truck decals, those 6 trucks that say Marine unit, all of a sudden, no longer. It says permanent licensing on them. And then on May 2026, the P&L training building that we're using all that money, the decal on that building that said Marine unit totally disappeared off there. never brought to us asking us why. Okay, so you can go to the next slide. So the funds and resources were allocated to form and expand a new city division service within P&L called the Marine Unit without commission approval. And I'm going to tell you something. I was here when Mr. Chisholm was here, and I know permit and licensing went down to the marina, and Chisholm told them to get their butt back to their offices. That is a true statement. Okay, but then afterwards, somehow they ended back down there. We never gave approval. And if you don't believe me, see how much, why do they need 6 F-250s down there, same Marine unit, and then we own 5 miles stretch of the river, and go look, pull up 5 years of a record request, how many docks and stuff we have inspected. It's not worth 6 F-250s. Funds were presented as P&L routine expenses after formation of the division and funding. This new division service was still not shared with commissioners. The City Commission approved, and which I pretty much told you, $686,992 for the 12 vehicles, yet the draft presentation for the JLAC November 3rd showed $621,375. Okay, so that's $65,617. Okay, so tell me why the original draft was $65,000 different than what we actually approved on that. It's like we're just coming up with numbers, it seems like. The stated purpose of the F-154 Lightning changed from daily tasks shown on 7/17/2024 Commission agenda to emergency management shown on 11/3/2024 JLAC draft presentation. No trucks were ever approved for pulling a boat or creating a marine unit. Trucks were only approved by the City Commission for construction permitting, and you're getting ready to see the attached agenda summaries. 5, the Marine Unit in Daytona Beach is totally separate entity from P&L and the designated as a enterprise fund, which that's what the marina is. But I just gave you credit because I do have, it says the interest earned from the excess P&L funds. I finally got pretty much that, but I'm still waiting on second of my record request that you're supposedly getting me, Mr. Feature, correct? Okay. Go to the next, please. Okay, this is the agenda summary for the 8 F-250s. Okay, and that was on May 17. And you can read very clear. I'm not going to read all this, but it says it's for construction sites. Nowhere on there, anywhere on the backup, anything, does it say it's for the marina. 6 of those F-250s. And it was out of the special revenue fund, even though no one wants to say it is, and it was now. The next one is the 3 vehicles, the 3 F-250s that we bought on April 3rd, 2024. You can read this for yourself. And also, it was never approved for the marina at whatsoever. It was for new construction sites. And there on June 11th, I just put this up there so you can go back and watch the commission meeting if you want. And you will see exactly what I'm saying is true as well. July 17, 2024, again, the one F-150 was never approved for the marina as well. You can go to the next one. And then if you go down to the next one, Daytona Beach Police Department website, city's long-term existing marine unit. Like I told you, this has been the marine unit in place since 1993 and the only one on the website. Go to the next. This is the marine unit for permit and licensing, and where you can see over to the left, that was put up on May 12, 2026. And it was not on the website whatsoever before that, the commission meeting. And you can see on the right where the truck says marine unit. And did I go a little bit too far? Okay. Now you can go to the next one. You can see where it says marine unit and the boat. But since then, like I said, the 6 trucks, no longer has marine unit on it, ever since I brought it up. This is the JLAC draft. You can go to the next one. And this is where it says project completed. And it has all the 11 Ford F-250s and the 1 Ford 1 F-150. Says it was submitted, and that was the draft, and I know we approved those out of that excess funds. Then you can go to the next one. This is the actual action plan that they actually sent to JLAC, or took to JLAC. Go to the next one. These are actual pictures I took, and you can see the picture up there. In May, they took off the marine unit completely. These are the truck numbers of all the 6 vehicles that had marine unit. Pictures exclusively from me. Go to the next. These are all the VIN numbers. Pictures exclusively from me. And then you can go to the next. Back up. Okay, and that is the marine unit logo. And if you look really close, you can see the wall because there's something stuck on the stucco. But that has been removed since 2026 off the P&L training. So I just wanted all this out for the record. Yes, I did approve all those vehicles, but I approved them for a different reason, and actually the whole commission did. But for some reason, they ended up 6 of them at the marina. And we approved them for construction sites. And that's all I have to say. July 3rd, we're having the parade. On June 6th, the Veteran of the Year thing that we have every year at the boardwalk starts at 7 o'clock. I hope commissioners can attend. And if anybody wants a copy of that PDF file, I will send it over to Letitia, and she can send you a copy of it. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Cantu, I'm wondering, for your event on Saturday night, it starts at 6?
The band shell?
Is it the band shell event? You have a military
that
event.
Actually starts at 7, but we kind of try to tell everybody to be there at 6:30.
Okay, 7 though. But it's at the band shell this weekend, correct?
No, the 6th.
The 6th, sorry.
The following,
Do you have a Purple Heart event?
The following Saturday.
Do you have a Purple Heart event coming up? No? A dinner?
Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, actually, thank you. This Saturday, and that starts, what time does that start, Commissioner? Do you remember?
Hold on.
I think it's 6.
Everything's always at 6.
I think it's 6. I'm sorry about that. I actually totally forgot about the gala.
Okay, so I might be a little bit late, but I am coming. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, thank you. Well, it's kind of a gala, Purple Heart. It's like a dinner they have every year. It's a state convention.
Okay.
Thank you. Excuse me? Yes, thank you.
You got my veteran already?
No,
I do have a
you can
question.
do it that
For Commissioner Cantu. That was a lot of information that you just provided. What's the condensed version? So you're saying that we approved the trucks, but we did not approve the trucks for this marine unit?
Correct. We
Okay.
never approved a marine unit for
Okay.
permanent
Do we
licensing.
have to approve a marine unit, or isn't it the same department? Like,
No.
say if we get some, I'm just trying to understand, like, for,
Okay, there's a marine unit with the fire department. The fire department had a marine unit.
Okay.
I believe in something happened. They had their boat. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't read the whole thing. I think it was in 2001. And then the fire department's marine unit started back up after we put money towards the boat and their grant they received. Then there was a marine unit that's always been in place with Daytona Beach PD since 1993. Supposedly, Mr. Morris had told us at the last commission meeting, oh, there's a permanent licensing Marine Unit 2. I can tell you that when Chisholm was here, that they went down there and Chisholm told them to get their butt back to their office.
Okay. So did the permits and licensing department have a marine unit? Do they have a marine unit?
They have
Is it-
one now.
Let's let Jim.
Well,
From
Jim's
your
going to say
perspective.
the same thing that he said last time, but
But-
they didn't put it up on the website. But what I'm saying is 6 F-250s, that same Marine unit, was never approved by this commission for the marina. And you can read all 3 agendas.
Okay. And the other thing, you said that a list of expenditures was provided to JLAC and it was different from what we were given?
There was a draft made, and the draft between senior staff, the draft was made, and yes, it was different than what it actually was presented to JLAC.
Okay.
But I can tell you, the draft, usually a draft is different, but I can tell you, you can watch the workshop. We approved those F-250s out of the special revenue fund. And it was completed. It was mentioned in the workshop when we went down the line.
Okay, so now was that information provided to JLAC as well, or it wasn't?
No, not when they went up there, because the draft was changed.
That's a little concerning. Did we approve? No. We didn't approve it. No.
But now they're saying they didn't approve it, but we did approve it out of the special revenue fund. It was even mentioned in the workshop.
And you're saying this is at the P&L workshop that was at 11 November 2025?
2024.
2024. Okay, thank you. I'm going to watch the
And
video.
watch the whole thing, and you're here when we're going line by line, and that was said it was completed.
Okay, thank you.
But you can look at all the agendas as well. It was never approved for the marina. Why would we approve 6 F-250s for a marina for one boat? Are they driving? I mean, what construction's going on that we need 6 F-250s?
My question would be, is it conceivable that some of our employees misunderstood some instructions and just possibly put the wrong decals on those trucks?
That is not the case. If you would allow Mr. Morris to communicate without interruption, unless there's a question, I think we'll be able to understand and comprehend some of the issues behind what took place with the changing of the logos, etc. If that's okay with you,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Jim, you
I'd
can,
gladly yield to Mr. Morris.
Mayor Commission, Jim Morris, Deputy City Manager. I'm joined by Mark Boyce, who is our new Chief Building Official. Mr. Urquhart, the former building official, resigned from his position, I think, as all of you know. When it comes to the trucks were purchased for and were always used for building inspection. And you may remember from some of our prior exchanges, there was a reference to people on LPGA being confused why there was a truck that looked like a Marine Patrol truck doing inspection. Glenn Urquhart chose to label the trucks the way he did, and he was very excited, I think, about the Marine unit. That was not something that was ever discussed with me or approved, but regardless of that, the trucks were purchased for building inspection purposes. That's what they've always been used for. And that has been the circumstance. As it relates to draft documents, I don't think I've ever prepared a document and relied upon it for notes or anything else and had my first copy be the copy that I use. So were there drafts and redrafts and checking of facts and so on before we went to JLAC? Absolutely. Did we send draft documents to JLAC? We did not. Someone did, but we did not. We used our final, sir? JLAC had draft documents that they were referred to in the hearing that we were at, Mayor, in Tallahassee. That was where some of the details came from. Tom Leake had documents that were sent to him from somewhere, and he used draft documents. That's why he got some of his facts wrong, and he eventually left the room during the hearing. So in respect to the trucks, they've been used for inspection purposes. As it relates to taking the names off, Commissioner Ann Cantu certainly had expressed her dissatisfaction and unhappiness about the trucks being labeled the way they are. And when Mr. Boyce became the chief building official, I asked him to please go ahead and relabel the trucks to suit the purposes for which they have been used and for which they are used. Now, trucks were never used for the marina purposes ever. And from the perspective of parking, they are parked there, and you can drive over the bridge, you'll see a number of trucks. If you come by City Hall parking lot on the weekend, and I know some of you probably do, this parking lot is empty. If you drive over the bridge or come over Orange Avenue and look to the south, you'll see the city vehicles are parked over there in a parking lot just south of where the building is and that we use for the marine training as well as other things. So that's the way those things have been used in terms of saying it's used for marina purposes, never been used for marina purposes at all. So that is a circumstance. There was a boat that was taken by the marina that was for failure of payment to rent and moved over near the vicinity of the boathouse because they were possessing that boat as a part of that, and that had come up at some time but didn't really come before the commission. And Mayor, I see you may have questions that you want to ask me, so I'm certainly happy to try and answer the question if you do have one.
Wait, before you ask, can I say something?
I vaguely remember when we were at JLAC that he asked questions about those vehicles, and
Yes,
he
sir.
asked questions, and I think that I was thrown off guard because I didn't know the information related to the draft. The draft information is what I'm asking about.
Yes, sir. And I didn't prepare the drafts. I know there were different drafts that were there in the final one. I did not create those myself.
So you didn't create them?
I did not create the drafts.
Do you
no,
know
sir.
who created them?
I'm not sure who did.
Mayor, there were drafts that went through different staff members through a public records request. I don't know, Letitia probably could not pull up public records request. They asked for any and all communications that had anything to do with JLAC on them. Within those JLAC emails, for us doing what's responsible from a state statute, public records request, all of those documents, anything that had those words in there in reference to our presentation were provided in those documents to whoever or whomever made the request. So all that information was taken forward. The final document draft was sent to the committee, and also that was provided to the committee. But there were drafts that were requested by individuals and were provided to whoever those public records went to.
So my question is, it's not conceivable that one of our staff members just sent that to Senator Lee. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure where he got it, but I know he had bad information, if you recall.
Because he was using draft information.
Yes, sir. He read things into the record that were inaccurate, and I corrected it on the record. That also shows up in the materials that were subpoenaed. That was my exchange with Mr. Leak in the JLAC hearing. It's labeled True Now, and I was confused when I saw on the subpoena the reference, I think it's True Now, because I didn't remember having an exchange with True Now. So I looked at the timing for it and listened to it, and that was my exchange with Senator Leak in respect to his presentation of an Attorney General opinion, which he misread, and I read the correct copy to him in the hearing.
So how do we determine how he got, so did he get a copy of the draft just because they asked for?
You know how whoever asked for it.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look to see who asked for copies of the draft. And I can research
So just,
that,
and that's the only way we know is that the person who asked for the copy. Okay. I don't have any other questions. I'm just interested in that because I remember being thrown off by him asking information about a draft that I hadn't seen or heard anything about. So
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead, Commissioner.
So who actually created the draft? You're ahead of
I said I don't know.
Constantine.
That's my answer. I didn't do it. I looked at drafts documents, but
Mr.
where they
Gross?
came from?
I don't know.
You don't know either. So all these people that were working to go to JLAC, Mr. Fager?
There were numerous individuals that worked on the draft, but I would have to actually pull up the document to see who was the initial author of the draft.
I don't think you remembered you're at the last commission meeting when I brought up the F-250s. So you might want to go back to February 4th, 2026 and actually listen to what you said to me about the Marine unit and the vehicles, because you forgot a few things, what you just said to us today and what you said back there. So please, everyone, go back and listen to February 4th, 2026 regarding permit licensing marine unit, and then come back and listen to what he just said today. Thank you very much.
You're
That's
so
it.
welcome.
Okay.
I don't know, commission members, if you have any other questions or comments that you want to have, so.
Mayor, I don't know if this is for Jim, but my question is, when we had our corrective action plan that we discussed in the workshop, how do we make sure what we're saying in the workshop gets done? Because from what I'm understanding is that we approved one thing, but the items that we approved at the workshop were not on the corrective action plan that was given to JLAC.
I don't think
Am
that's
I
true.
understanding that correctly?
You are absolutely correct. If you go
Okay.
back and listen to it, we went line by line, and at the time in 2024, some people thought we could still buy a building. That's when we were going through the Beach Street, and you're here, stuff like that, which we weren't allowed to buy a building in Beach or any building. So you're here, and then you're here about maybe extending, but we didn't get that far yet, it's extending City Hall. So the mayor went line by line of what, so we could try to resolve the problem. And you will hear it mentioned that the F-250s were taking out a special revenue, and they go, oh, that's totally, I think it was maybe the mayor said, or Commissioner Reed said, oh, that's totally completed. So it states in that, I watched the whole thing the other night, it states in there that we bought those F-250s and the F-150 out of the special revenue fund. So I don't know why everybody is saying we didn't buy them out of it now and took it out of the draft. It doesn't make any sense, but we did.
Would that be through the clerk?
But the
for
reason is
minutes for
I
that
can-
meeting for the workshop?
And the
Okay.
video would be on.
And I can tell
Okay.
you the reason it's being changed now, because we were not allowed by state law. I mean, and that's why we're saying it now, but we did approve those out of the special revenue fund.
City manager, can we get a list of what we approved at that meeting on November in 2024, right? Or is it?
You can watch the whole workshop.
I don't have time to watch another workshop.
Well, I don't either, but when you're driving around to meetings, just turn it on and listen.
We will get the information and all of the
I
drafts
would like, yes.
as well
What
provided
we
to you.
approved at the workshop and what was provided to JLAC. Can we get those two documents?
Yeah, and then listen,
Okay.
and also you guys should listen to the commission meeting on 2/4/2026 at what Mr. Moore said and what he just told you tonight.
Can you send that to the clerk? What you
I
had
will
up there?
send this whole
So
entire thing that
We
I
have
Oh,
it.
you have it.
We've
Can-
already given
can
it to
you
the press. Yeah.
Send it to me or us.
I'm gonna send
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's one thing about me. I have a memory, a good memory. And I remember, I mean, my husband thinks it's crazy because I can remember what someone wore 2 years ago to an event. And I don't know what it is, but I can remember things. So I know exactly when someone says something or what I approve, because I do look at my agendas, so I can remember. And that's why I go back and look at it, because I knew it was there.
So has this been corrected?
No, and I've asked about this correction.
I'm sorry, what has
I'm
what been
sorry.
corrected, Commissioner?
It
Whatever
has
she's
not
saying
been-
is the issue, that it was a marine unit and now it's F-15s for permits and
It's
licensing.
been, yeah, okay, so the six
It was-
F-250s that had marine unit, it has been corrected in May of this year. They have permanent licensing, yes, it
Okay.
has been corrected.
Now,
But the approval
okay.
of us approving.
Commissioner, we're asking him questions. Do we have any more questions for him? No one else has any more questions? Okay. It's still your time, and then I think you haven't gone yet? Okay.
I'm going to stand down, Mayor.
Go ahead. You're good. Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner. You had something else?
No, I was just answering Commissioner Reed. It has been corrected. The Marine unit is off those 6 trucks. And when you see those trucks, and that's what I brought up at that last commission meeting, you automatically think it's law enforcement because they say Marine unit. And I know there is police officers that automatically thought, oh, this has to do with the police. And it doesn't. But what makes me a little upset, I did approve these vehicles, but I never, or any of us approved it for the marina. Why would we approve 6 F-250s for a marina?
So my question is, they're saying that they were not for the marina. They're saying that they were for building. Why would they buy them for the marina?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, he just
Well, he's saying that they're not for that. They were bought for building construction.
But go back
But
and
so
listen.
the-
Go
but the-
back and listen to his
but
other
my question
meeting.
is, why would they buy them for the marina? There's no
Well,
rationale for that.
You only need one for a boat, so
But-
I don't understand why you put a marina on all of them. But go back and listen to the last commission meeting when I
But no,
brought it up.
I'm trying to say that it doesn't logically make sense to simply buy 6 trucks to say that they're for the marina and just sit there for
Okay.
no reason when you have evidence of the trucks being out in the city in different places. There's not the marina. They're being used for a practical purpose that they were bought for.
Okay, the
But
mayor.
the other thing is,
You asking a question? Let me answer
no,
this.
no,
Why
no.
would you put 6 vehicles, F-250s with marina all over them, and you're wasting money there? So tell me why you put marina.
they're saying that the reason that
That's
it's
what
his
he,
staff, and that's why
that's
I'm
what
not-
he's
I'm not
saying
asking.
now. That's what he's saying now. Go back and listen to the other commission meeting when I brought him up, because he explains why we had 6 people over there. Is it 5 or 6? It was over there working as Marine unit, wearing uniforms that say Marine unit.
Okay, I got that, but
I do have pictures of these people in Marine unit. I didn't put them up because I didn't want to put the employees' pictures up. But if you guys want me to share these pictures, I will share these pictures, because they have uniforms that say Marine unit on them, and they are working around there with 6 F-250s.
okay, gotcha. All right, are we? And I'm just trying to figure out if you actually bought these units, what would be your logical purpose for them to? Yeah, go ahead.
As I said, Mayor, they were never used at the marina, never assigned to the marina. They were parked at the marina weekends and nights. They were always used for building inspection. And as I said, the reference in one of the comments before was people on LPGA were confused by the look of the vehicles. Now, there's nothing about them that says law enforcement. So whatever people think they see, I can't help that. The words did say Marine unit. That's something that Urquhart did. It should not have been, and there's no reason to do it. And I had those letters changed because, in part, I thought it might satisfy some of Commissioner Cantu's concerns. But in terms of practice and use, from day one until today, those trucks have been used for building inspection. And think about this, too. We have had record revenue that we have excess, and that's why, excuse me, we're dealing with JLAC. You didn't get that by running around in circles in the marina. They were out doing building inspections and finals and COs for the record construction that we've had here. Mr. Boyce has been in the department most of the time. He knows about that, but what I'd prefer to do, Mayor, is we'll generate questions and issues raised for all those things and bring them back to you with writing and references and so on, so that you have a clear record, that you don't have to try and listen to tapes while you drive around, that sort of thing. We can bring all of that back to you, and we will. It will take more than 2 weeks to do that.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Henry.
We have 2 issues tonight. Well, not even really issues. And that is that we will be having our monthly community meeting on this Tuesday at the YSG. So you may come out. We'll have, I think Hassan is coming this time to, so if you bring your computer, you bring your cell phone, he's going to show you how to log on and address any concerns that you may have, how to upload your pictures, how to send concerns or questions to the city to have them addressed. And that meeting will be Tuesday. Our meetings are growing tremendously. We're almost growing out of the room. So please come, please. And of course, we'll be eating as well. So if you come on, we'll have your dinner ready and you can talk to city staff and get all your issues and concerns addressed right there. second thing is that White Castle. I went on Tuesday and broke ground with White Castle. It was an amazing time. When I say they know how to do a groundbreaking ceremony, they know how to do a groundbreaking ceremony. They brought employees down. They brought Sir, I don't even remember his name, but they brought him down. He had his horn. They put a flooring down. They brought the griddle. They put sliders on the griddle outside. And it was an amazing time. We're happy to be partnering with them. Ken showed up, city manager showed up. And so Zone 5 is really just growing at a immense pace. And they are outpaced, and they're going to have, I think he said 27 positions. So 27 jobs. So it's that's a wonderful thing to see those jobs coming to Zone 5. And so we're looking forward to them being open. I think they said next year. So those are the only two things that I have for tonight. And those are just my comments for tonight.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Reed?
Yes, sir. Just want the city to know that the new playground equipment is there at Cypress Park for youth and for adults. Had an opportunity to go there. The groundbreaking wasn't as elaborate as what you just expressed for White Castle, but we were there. Just want to also just express some disappointment in one of our new restaurants. I went to Popeyes. I wanted some chicken with some bones. Bojangles. They only do chicken strips.
Yes. It's most of the new ones.
Thank you, Pastor Fuller. Yeah, I wanted real chicken, and I got it anyway. But I wanted some chicken with bones.
They have bone chicken.
Yeah,
but my children love those strips.
So. Most of the new ones now only do strips. The older ones do the chicken. In fact, we went to Charlotte this weekend, and Charlotte is Bojangles capital of the world. In fact, we were in the Bojangles arena because my daughter graduated college. We were in the Bojangles arena, and so she said they're sick of Bojangles in Charlotte, and all of theirs they're the original ones, so they have the chicken, but they don't have that here.
We used to have bones. We had a previous Bojangles here, and we used to have bones.
Not anymore.
All right, I'll give it up.
Commissioner Cantu worked at Bojangles, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to also acknowledge in the manager's report, his manager's update, that one of my constituents in Zone 6, that Mr. Pierre Lewis, is named Veteran of the Year. And it states here, yay! It says Daytona Beach resident Pierre Lewis, U.S. Marine, retired, has been named Volusia County's first Veteran of the Year through the Volusia Values Veterans Program, which honors veterans who continue serving their communities after their military service. And he's going to be recognized at the County Council meeting with the proclamation on June 2nd as Pierre Lewis Day during their 9 a.m. ceremony. So I just want to put that on the record that Pierre Lewis has been recognized. Then I also want to share that, it's a holiday weekend. Everybody be safe. Memorial Day weekend. Be careful, be safe, enjoy your families, and I'll see you when I see you. That concludes my comments.
Okay. Commissioner Parrish, we still have her.
So unfortunately, at the last meeting, the Army Corps didn't give us positive information, and a lot of my residents left a little demoralized. So they came back to me after a couple of days to see if we can meet with staff on June 2nd to figure out what we could do for the Holloway Place, Woodcliff Manor, Fairway Estates, and any abutting areas to the Nova Canal. Because right now, the only storm water and drain flooding projects we got a list via email today is for grants to do more studies. What I wanted to ask the commission is that I know that we had that $1.2 million that they asked us if we were going to, I guess, approve for more further studying. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. I've don't think we should spend another $1.2 million if we could get the money back and then get an engineer who's local here to help us figure something out, because Ponce Inlet was able to do some stormwater improvements with a local engineer. South Daytona has done a lot of projects. Transform 386 just approved like a $7 million project with New Smyrna Beach. So I hope I get the support from the rest of the commission for these Zone 1 residents that basically are being told you're in a flood area and there's not that much we could do for you. I saw that we already started doing some work in Midtown, so I'm hoping that we could afford the same options or something also for the residents in Zone 1. On June 2nd, we're going to be meeting, so I want to be able to bring it back and see if we could approve something as a commission, because everything that we're being told it's going to cost $50 million to $250 million. I think there's something we could do for standing water, because a lot of the water comes back from the Nova Canal through the drain system and becomes standing water in those areas. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up. On June 2nd, we're going to be having the meeting. Once I have a time finalized with staff, I could have them post it. So thank you.
I think June 2nd is a little quick to ask staff to turn around and tell us what they can do if we keep that money.
I think there's more to questions that the residents had that they weren't able to ask because it was just a presentation.
Okay.
But I know that other things have been done in other areas.
Since the presentation?
No,
recently
beforehand.
though. Recently though, I know
So-
South Daytona had some stuff. You know, I'm not opposed to that idea, because I would like to know what are the purposes of the new studies now that the Corps of Engineer has come in and told us what.
The core study is pretty much said that there is really no major
Right.
fix. What
Right,
she
but I'm-
is, what Commissioner Paris is wanting to recommend is that we don't continue to work with the Corps in utilizing the 1.2 million. Then I think we had like 250 came out of something else. Should we utilize those funds to solve problems here and not continue to go through with
Right.
it? So our staff,
So
we
my
just
question is, what is the benefit of another study as opposed to what she's asking?
I don't
You
know.
know, if you don't mind me cutting in, I would kind of wait to next Thursday. I have a storm mitigation. I'm on the storm mitigation committee with all the cities, the 16 cities, and I'd like to hear what he has to say, because I did talk to Ben Bartlett after this, and it's something that we all need to get together with county and state and see what kind of solutions that we can come up to. So I kind of want to hear what they have to say next Thursday before we kind of make any decisions, what we should do,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
I don't want to make any decisions. I just wanted to weigh the option.
So our next meeting would be June 3rd, right? Because if you're going
Correct,
next Thursday,
correct.
right? I could talk to the residents, but the thing is, I really feel that we shouldn't be investing more money with the Army Corps. I think we need to bring people that have actually done stormwater projects here already in the area, because everybody seems to be doing a little bit of something, whether it's with the Nova Canal, whether it's dredging a little bit further, whether it's creating more stormwater storage. I know that we can't prevent flooding, but there has to be something to do at least to minimize it.
I think we need to talk to Shannon and Justin as well and see what they say.
I'm not opposed to that. I think we probably need to do something on our own. I don't believe in just spending more money for study.
That's my
as well.
concern.
I don't know if they'll have something to come back in 2 weeks to tell us what we could do, but you're also asking that we would address the questions that those citizens are asking that didn't get a chance to speak during the presentation, correct?
Correct. I mean, I could meet with them to get the questions that they want answered.
And maybe
Then
staff
we
can
could
answer those.
Come back on June 3rd, and I really want to put something together, though. Not just keep saying, I mean, it was very depressing for me because I really had hope that they were going to give us some sort of answer.
Can we
So-
put something
You and me both.
on the agenda so we can,
For the 3rd. Maybe, yes?
okay.
So I'll come
When you
back.
say put something on the agenda, what are we talking about?
Well, a discussion of
discuss?
what Commissioner Cantu gets from her meeting, what staff and I get questions from the residents.
All right.
But when is
discuss
her
it.
meeting won't have happened though,
Yeah,
right? When
mine's
is
the 28th.
Okay, the 28th. Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Can you
And
find
then
out?
also, I'd like to hear what Shannon and Justin has to say as well.
Can you find out what the adjoining cities are doing? So South Daytona, Port Orange, Holyoke,
That's
Ormond.
actually, that's where all the cities are turning things in, and they're supposed to be, I'm not even sure if it's completed yet, where you can go to the website at the county and see what every city has done, what they're doing. Right.
Commissioner May, I did provide what South Daytona did. It was 3 pages of it at our last meeting.
And
I
that
don't know if we
will
still
be-
have that.
That will be on the website as
Okay.
well.
I did go to the international festival, and if you haven't been to Manatee Island, you have to go. Because Manatee Island itself, it's just beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Right on the river. And I did see a French singer. We saw some dancers. We had some different kinds of foods. So it was lovely. Very nice. And they have a lot of outdoor events and festivals that they're going to be having at Manatee Island. So check out their website. Is it Riverfront Esplanade, right?
Manatee, yeah. Is that first time you ever been there? Oh, I was going to say, what?
I think I'm going to talk about it tonight. I'll just wait in the future because I'm worn out. So we'll hear from the citizens of Daytona Beach. Nothing from the manager. I'm sorry. Anything? I'm skipping them too. I'm skipping myself and skipping them. But they don't have anything. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we'll move on to the public comment forum. Our first speaker tonight is John Navarre. I don't know if he left.
John is gone.
Okay. Edward Montgomery. And on deck is John Nicholson.
Montgomery. What are you doing, sir? Great.
My name is Ed Montgomery. My main concern today is I'm asking about a speed bump on Rose Street. They're coming through there real fast.
Rose
Street.
Is that where your church is?
Yes,
Yes.
because this summer I'm planning on having young kids coming around and they're coming through too fast. And I was trying to get the community garden. I came before one time before. You guys said you're gonna get back with me. Nobody got back with me. I also asked about 509 Martin Luther King for the funding of redevelopment. She said she thought it was Chester's. It's not. It's Reverend Luke Child's own, and we trying to help get it redeveloped. No help. We called down. One lady told me tonight, well, let code enforcement come and do a walkthrough. Why? Mm-hmm. It's our building. We want the funding. We need some answers, and I ain't getting no answers. So whoever I need to talk to, I need some numbers or whatever to get these things started. The community garden, I asked, we got land or whatever on Rose Street. It's a go through. So I figured if we put a garden there, at least the people that's walking through there have something to pick instead of throwing trash down in there. Rose Street, yep. From Rose to Fulton, we own that property. I think the city owns the property beside that, what we have, and it would be a perfect place for a garden because the young people, they got all the people out of Pine Haven now, they finna move them back in because they're redeveloping it. And a lot of the kids gonna start coming in there. And if they're gonna be running down those streets and walking, and they don't almost have the little part they have in there, it ain't gonna work because they're walking on the outside. So I would like just someone to help us because I want to do a community for computers for the kids to come and study because my wife, she's in special need and she teaches that, and we just been helping them with the computers that I have my own self. I did develop, but I would like someone just to give me some information on how to get these things started because Reverend Luke Childs, that's my father-in-law, He's be 90 in June, so he want to see what his legacy going to be, and I want to be there to try to make sure it happens.
Okay.
That's all I want to say.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I get any answers?
Well, I don't know how we can answer any of that because you're asking us to fund something that we don't just typically fund community gardens. Now, we do have, you may want to get with your zone commissioner and see if they may have some discretionary funds, but I don't really have an answer right here.
But we'd like to do something about the speed bump.
Oh, definitely can do something about the speed bump. Or,
Start there.
yeah, we can start there.
For 509, Martin Luther King.
Is that a church? What is that?
That used to be it's Matty Howard's old building where we used to have the gospel singing, and it used to be a cleaners. Back in the days, it was a refuge for the black soldiers because they couldn't go over in D-Land to the armory in D-Land. They came there to reference.
Is that the building that's slightly beyond Cedar Street?
Yeah. You know what Chester had. You know because you thought that was Chester's property, but I told you it's not. It was Luke Child's own.
Yeah, I thought the 2-story on the corner was Chester's, at the corner of.
Chester don't have nothing. They tore all that down. He got land there.
Okay, so that's what I knew.
Building, yeah, the building
You're
is
next door.
yes. That's it right there. Yes, sir.
Matty Howard's old building.
Well, when you want to redevelop something, is it in a redevelopment zone? It is?
Yes, she said, somebody down here said, one of the ladies, she said, we could fund it because he owns it. We own the building.
Oh.
And just sitting there, and I wanted to try to redevelop it, try to get computers in there for the homeless, because right there, that place right there, right there, all those guys are hanging around. You know what they do? They ask me to use the computer just to do their food stamps. And they ask me how to get, some of them on probation. They have to use it. They don't go down. They don't go to down to the city hall.
To the library.
They don't let them use it in campus sometimes. They don't let them come in there and get those computers like you really fund them for.
Okay.
But I would like to help them. All right. Best I can.
Okay, thank you. Staff will follow up with you.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, Commissioner Paris, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, because with our different redevelopment programs, because somebody did bring this up to me in the Midtown redevelopment, even for residential units, we have money in downtown as a grant, but not in Midtown. So I don't know if it has to be looked at when we do our budget on how we want to allocate the money. I just didn't get a chance to talk to Michelle about that, but it was for another location at MLK. So I don't know, it's how the money is budgeted for what kind of programs and for what kind of rehab for the buildings.
I'm curious about the speed bumps. So what is the process now? Is it residents apply, 80% agree, or is it Public Works still has to decide whether or not it's warranted?
I think it's both.
It's just not Public Works, it's both. They will put out and do a study to see how many cars are actually speeding or going down that area, and then they'll ask for the people on that roadway, do they support it and where it will be put up. I mean, so it's a study process, and most of the time, to be honest, if you look at the study, we may not have as many people speeding as all the time. But yeah, that's been documented. There will be a study on that road and in that particular area.
Mr. Mayor, while the next person comes up,
Which is John Nicholson.
can I just say that at my last community meeting, I had code enforcement there, and they said that they were going to be starting their summer code enforcement in May, and end of May, early June, and it's going to be they're going to be starting in Zone 5. So my residents had concerns because they said that they were going to be dealing with this particular time chipped paint on houses. So my residents were very concerned about elderly people and how they would repair their homes with the chipped paint. And it was mentioned that we used to have a paint project here in the city. And I was wondering if I could use funds to start a paint project for those residents, those elderly residents who would, and it would just be for the people who seriously need it. It's not just people who just want to paint their homes, but people who would have some code violations because they cannot afford to purchase paint. And I was told that we could do miracles with $1,000 to start that. So I was wondering if anybody else would like to put in $1,000 or $1,500 for it, and it could be for the entire city, so that as they come to each zone, if you have someone in your zone, an elderly person in your zone, or not even just an elderly person, a person in your zone that cannot afford paint, then they too could participate in the paint project. So I was just asking, would anybody else be interested in doing a citywide paint project to help with some of that blight in our neighborhoods and in our communities as they come around and begin fining people for those.
For seniors? For our seniors?
Yeah, it's for seniors who won't be able to afford paint, and they may have chipped paint, so they may get fined or, get a code violation.
I just want to ask the attorney, is that okay if we have a senior program for paint?
It doesn't
I'm
necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be for paint. I said it could be for anyone who cannot afford
Who has a violation,
who has
you wanna
a
help
code
them.
violation if we want to help them.
How to get to yes?
Can we do that?
I think if we write the rules up correctly, it's doable.
Yeah, I'm in.
Well, I need to check with was it Habitat for Humanity? Because that's who my partnership was with for anyone in Zone 6 that got the new roof, whose house was in disarray and broken glass and what have you.
Because you had that.
Yeah, I had that with them, and I need to know where we are with that because I was using their free labor, but I supplied all of the supplies and what have you.
And that's
I'd like
what-
to know where I
yeah.
am with that because
And-
I gave them $30,000.
Okay, and I understand that. We were looking at some of the programs at Cookman, like the football team. One of the former football coaches said that they used to do it all the time. They would have to go and do community service for if people have chipping on their paint. Their football team would be their community service, and I think we've given enough money, and that they would want to partner with us, and that they could help with those projects in our communities.
And I was going to suggest any type of volunteering. I mean, with the churches and what have you, anyone we've given money to. If we take responsibility for what we've been blessed with, we've got some funding that we can help them do those things. We just need the labor, the free labor to help it get done. And I think people will have more pride and ownership in their community if they have some sweat equity in the contributions.
I agree. So that was, sorry, John. I'm just chatting away.
So our next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Tom Catherine.
No, John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview. I didn't speak on the Derbyshire, but I gave a copy to Keith. When you enter from the west side, there is plenty of room to put parking along that road. Rather than take the very center and put a big parking lot, leave the large areas open field. So if they want to have a soccer game, if they want to have kids event, whatever, once you start filling in everything so that there's no open space, you cannot undo what you've done. So I'm asking you to consider that roadway as you enter to put the parking on both, because there's plenty of room to put parking on both sides of the road. And technically, you can literally take that road and go all the way over to Vine, because there was a road there at one time. So you put the road, do it one way on one side and one way at the other side, so you could have parking on both sides and leave the center open for all kinds of activities. I would ask you to kind of at least think of that. Secondly, the fire station. When there was a debate a month ago, I went to the fire station and they gave me a grand tour. When I got upstairs, I was just like amazed. 1950s. The dark wood, falling apart, peeling paint. This is Fire Station 1. And I'm just like, how did and I understand we're going to get rid of it, but just the basic 1950-ish. So what do the other fire stations look like? So if we could at least, since somebody already brought it up, at least go through them. There are employees, they deserve a nice place to, if they're going to spend 24 hours a day there, it should be comfortable and modernized. Third, Main Street. Went to the Midtown CRA. What they're doing there is phenomenal. You should take a view of the, well, you saw it, what they're planning. There's now 7 locations in Midtown, all coming in starting this summer. It's going to be, 30% of the property in Midtown is going to be renovated. Beachside, for the last 30 years, has acquired property that's been sitting there for 30 years, 20 years, and we've never put out an RFP. We've never tried to do anything. I understand the boardwalk with Dino, there's a lawsuit, but the other properties are just sitting there. They're properties that now we could acquire, the ones that we were planning on with the bar. We could get the entire city block. It's all for sale. Main Street, there's 7 properties on Main Street that are all for sale, and we already own the other property.
Thank you, John.
We need to do something on Main Street, CRA.
And John makes a great point about Derbyshire Park. That's an excellent point, because as the plan develops, you want to be able to have spaces for those things to go. We're thinking about a water park. You're thinking about a track maybe to go around. You don't want to muddy up all the middle. So that's a real good point. Mm-hmm. Agree.
Our next speaker is Tom Caffrey, and on deck, is it Shanna? Shanna Lohman. I'm sorry.
Hey everybody, Tom Caffrey, 324 Cottrill Avenue, where I grew up in Daytona Beach. Still own it. You guys have said a lot of nice things tonight, and there's some stuff, honest discussion that I think is important. We just had a amazing cemetery cleanup May 17th. So over this last weekend, Sunday, we cleaned up the cemetery. We did some painting, some relatively high-end things, and we plan to do more. We want to have that cemetery looking high-end for the July 4th parade. The July 4th parade is our piece de resistance. So we want to get that thing all looking good by that. We're going to try to have flags out there, open it up on Main Street, Daytona Beach. Yeah. So the Pinewood Cemetery Peninsula, and I'm going to extrapolate a little. Peninsula used to be called Pine Street, and Hollywood was always called Hollywood. So the reason why the Pinewood Cemetery is called Pinewood is because it was between Pine and Hollywood. So Pinewood. It's 5.5 acres. It's got over 1,900 souls buried in the thing. It's an amazing cemetery. Most of our founders of this great city are buried in that thing. So I'd recommend people to go there. It's 152 years old. It's older than the city itself. There's a lot of things I wanted to talk about, and I've already wasted a minute. The free paint's available. So free paint's available at the dump. Go to the dump, go look at the paint, see what's there. They'll give you free paint. They will get it to you. You can get that for free from the dump. You don't need money for it. It's something that's available. Vacation rentals are very important to me. Krista Goodrich was out here. Her and I are partners on many things. I own a lot of property in the Daytona Beach area, and I grew up in the Daytona Beach area. Vacation rentals, I think, between Silver Beach and Seabreeze are imperative. The area that I own currently is in the T1 district, which is the 1300 block. So it's around Zelda. So I would recommend vacation rentals highly. You look at cities like St. Augustine, Sanford, other progressive cities. It's very, very, very important that we get those done. Our corridor there has become very, very blighted. And that goes to the next topic, beach driving. We removed beach driving in March of 2000, just before Bike Week, and that was a terrible travesty to this community. That area from Seabreeze all the way to International Speedway is the only corridor in our entire district that hasn't had any improvements other than the Proto Group Tower. Everything north or everything south continues to have improvements, continues to have brand new buildings, continues to have very, very attractive things going on and are not blighted. There was a photo that was shared on Facebook today that made me sad and sick. So I apologize. That's all I got. I could talk for hours.
Our next speaker is Shanna Lohman, and on deck is Doyle Lewis.
Hello again, I'm Shanna Lohman, 50 Herringbone Way, Ormond Beach, Florida. I remembered my point that I had forgotten when I was speaking a little while ago. According to foodandwaterwatch.org, FPL has increased by 45% from 2020 to 2026, and they attribute it mainly to three reasons, one being disasters, the main one that I wanted to talk about being investment in massive development. So I am worried about the energy grid. And this is mainly just a question I want to put to you all, is our energy grid, which is famously aging and not up to the code that it needs to be up to, at least so I've heard from many places, is it ready to take on not only Avalon Park, but just 3 minutes up the road from it, Ormond Crossing with 2,950 homes and another 3,000 acres, Tomoka Oaks down the road with 254 new homes, and Tattersall within 300 feet of Avalon Park with 129 homes, adding up to 3,333 units times the average population or household size of 3. That's another 10,000 people within the radius of Avalon Park. So we're not just having 27,000 estimated new people, we are having 37,000 estimated new people in this area. And I know that most of them are on the Ormond side, I believe, but we're still sharing the stormwater, we're still in that floodplain area, we're still gonna be facing electricity challenges. And I know I've seen the electricity bills going up already. So I'm very worried about what's going to happen, not only with Avalon Park's 3,000 acres, but also with the 3,000 acres, 10,000 people combined right next door to that. I'm also just wanted to ask, just put it to us, the allowable density in 2024 was 3,250 units, and I believe it was already said that those homes were already approved, so that nothing can be done about that. And I am just wondering how we went from that and, 1 residence per 25 acres of wetland designation to 8,818 density and waivers on all of the wetland designations along with the rezoning. It feels to me like it wasn't important in the first place. And it also feels to me like when we see rampant flooding and when we don't know what can be done about the flooding, I think we need to consider how frequent the rezonings have been, especially of the the environment service corridors like we've seen today. 11 seconds left. Aquifer injection has been something that's posited as a solution to overdevelopment. Just putting that out there, I don't like it. Thanks. I appreciate your time.
Our next speaker is Doyle Lewis, and our final speaker tonight will be Reverend Jermaine Fuller.
Good evening, Doyle Lewis, Daytona Beach. I'm gonna keep it short tonight. I'm glad somebody brought it up about the bus benches on Beach Street. I had a driver for the Votran bus ask me, or I told him, or we had a conversation about the bus bench that is on the riverside, right there by International in the library. The bus bench is over here and the bus stop is over here. There's not a bus bench by the bus stop. The other ones that are along Beach Street, you got the bus bench and the bus sign right together. But for some reason on that one, it's not together. And I use those bus benches. And I know several people that do have canes and walkers that catch the bus, and they do use them. But some of them, they're sitting there and they're not using the buses. There's a way to get to that. You just call Voltran. It's called the Voltran Police. If you have complaints about somebody sitting on a bus bench and not using the bus bench, they'll send their smaller vans around and kind of watch and ask and tell them to move on. Fire Station 1, ribbon cutting, June 2nd. Not for sure if I'll be there or not. I'm turning 58 that day. I like the beach better. Thank the churches, all the churches in the area that help out with people that are in need every week. The food pantries, the clothes closets, the gardens. I love the churches. They're keeping me alive. Have a good night.
Okay, our final speaker tonight is Reverend Jermaine Fuller.
Greetings, Jermaine Fuller, Reverend Jermaine Fuller, 201 North Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. I was not going to say anything tonight. I was just sitting back and actually was impressed with the unity that I both heard and saw tonight with the commission. And then when the final words started coming and circulating around, Commissioner Cantu, she mentioned in her comments about some individuals that she heard was going to come here tonight to address that F-250 ordeal. And I am actually glad about all of the information, even new information that came out tonight concerning those 250s. I would like to say that I am one of the ones that said that, but I'm glad that you mentioned that because that also lets me know where you got that from. That hate group on Facebook, Volusia Issues. So I'm really grateful for that. But nevertheless, here's what I want to say to the commission. It is so very, very, very important that we keep in mind how our communication comes across. Because a lot of our citizens and residents, they really don't know the processes and how things go in government. Now, I can say that because I'm not just a pastor. I'm bivocational. 13 years I served in county government in Polk County. Currently, I'm a school teacher at Cherokee Small Elementary. So I know the ins and outs and all of the meetings that you have to be at before you come on the diocese. I know about these things and how you have to go over all of the agendas. But our citizens, the people that you all represent on a daily basis, they don't know that. So what ends up happening is they get in these hate groups. And I have to call it exactly what it is. Because when you are calling out specific individuals, like there are darts that are being thrown to specific individuals and headshots of specific individuals, right? It becomes a disdain. And so I ended up getting in this group. It took me a while because I had to go through all of this verification, right? But they finally let me get in. And my whole purpose for it was to shed light and to shed truth on how processes are actually ran in county government. So I would just say, as you all are having your town meetings and all of that, the Citizens Academy, would you all just continue to re-emphasize the importance of our citizens and residences getting into things like the Citizens Academy so they can really know how county city government runs?
Thank you.
Good night, Daytona Beach.